All right, and we are live. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and welcome to ABL Live. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. Thank y'all for being here. I missed y'all on Wednesday. I was out of town visiting family, going to a conference, but I'm back, and we're back with the topics. It's been a whole lot going on over the past few days. We got to cover a lot going on in this past week, but definitely in the past few days. One of the Koch brothers, David Koch, passed away at age 79. A wide range of reaction. People talking about, I'm glad he's dead. They're spitting on his grave. To some saying that he was actually a libertarian philanthropist and was trying to help people. People want to blame the Koch brothers for the ills of the world, but don't really have a real reason why they feel that way. That's just how I feel. That's just kind of like my opinion. What else do we have? The veteran student loans being forgiven. And this is for disabled veterans. I think when Trump said it, he was like, the most severely disabled veterans are going to be eligible to have their student loans forgiven. Now, if anybody deserves to have their student loans wiped away, it'd be those that are injured, those that have been injured in war, defending our nation. I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, if you got amputated below the knee, both knees, and you're trying to make some of yourself, I think you deserve to have your student loans forgiven versus the regular everyday person that went out there and did nothing, who decided he wanted to hand out for no reason, wanting free school just because Bernie Sanders says so. But we'll get to all those things and more in just a moment on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all again for joining me. I definitely appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the whole wide world, but you're right here with me live on the show. Yeah, I've been traveling. I've been on the plane today. I got back here a while ago, so I'm here and we're rocking and rolling. So thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate you. I may do some more videos tomorrow, maybe, or come back on Monday and do my regular content. So we'll talk about all those things. Oh, I'm back in my house. I'm not traveling anymore, so I'm back from what I was doing. But thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. Alrighty. Now, what else do we have going on? Oh, also, did you guys see Patrick Byrne, the former Overstock .co CEO, or Overstock.com, whatever it is? You know what I'm talking about. The Overstock CEO. The former one, Patrick Byrne, getting on TV and saying a few things about the federal government and what they've been doing. I mean, it seems pretty wild to me, but I don't think that it's anything that's outside of the ordinary for the federal government or any of the deep state operatives to be involved with. It seems kind of like part of the course. If you've been paying attention, this pretty much seems like what's going on. So I'm not surprised at all, not one iota, not in the least bit. We'll talk about what he was saying as we get more into the show. I'm pretty sure you guys will call in and let me know more about what's happening. Also, the Amazon rainforest burning. That's really just fear mongering. The Amazon always burns the same kind of way every single year. It's not a new phenomenon. People trying to say it's the new president, Bolsonaro, because he's quote unquote far right and he's intentionally burning up the Amazon rainforest. They're talking about it's private companies coming in. The forest always burns like that, and in the same way. It's not really anything new at all. You know, that's just pretty much what that is. So the media, I'm not really sure. I think since the whole thing with Russia didn't work out, then the next step is to villainize anybody in the world that could be considered some kind of way right-leaning or conservative at all, like the new president of Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro. You know, because when he won, it was kind of a shock. People were like, oh, you can't have this guy win. He's too far on the right. You see? So now they're trying to say, since the rainforest is burning, the same as it always has burned for many, many years, like since the beginning. And look at it like this. If you have a forest full of trees, like what are trees made of? Wood, right? And it rains in the rainforest, correct? So sometimes you have thunder and lightning with rain. If a tree gets struck by lightning, what's going to happen? It may spark, catch on fire, and then catch other trees on fire, other vegetation around it on fire as well. That could happen. I mean, it's a natural thing to occur. It's not anything new at all. So, yeah, right, it's exactly what we're writing. They're pushing the whole thing with the Amazon burning in the 90s. They're talking about the Earth's lung is being threatened because 20% of the oxygen comes from the Amazon rainforest. Like, you have so many, like, the amount of rainforest that exists in the Amazon is just stupendous. The amount of forests, the amount of trees that are there are just, you really can't, it's hard to quantify it. Okay. It's a very wide area, a humongous area of trees. So that little fire, it's like a brush fire. It's like a cigarette canister being on fire in New York City. That's kind of like what it is. It's not a big deal at all. But the media will make it be a big deal because it's all about just trying to, push a certain narrative. Exactly. There you go, Will Redding. You right on it. He says the Amazon overtakes ground faster than it loses. Correct. 100%. Yeah, so shout out to my man Bolsonaro for not giving in and, saying, oh, we got to protect the, that's the next thing. They're saying, oh, it's about climate change. So let me get this straight. The Amazon rainforest has a fire, the same as it always does every year, the same level of flame, the same level of intensity every single year, but it's because of climate change. I mean, if the climate is changing and that's causing it, then why is the fire the exact same as always? NASA even put out a thing, because they can see some of the smoke from the sky, of course. NASA said that what's happening right now in the Amazon is the same as it has been year to year over the past quite a few years, a very long time. So it's not anything new. But let's talk about a few more things. It's a lot on my docket. I think one of the main things I've saw that I wanted to do a video about, but I was not able to, I was traveling. The former Overstock CEO, Patrick Byrne, talking about some quote unquote men in black, some higher ups at the FBI were telling him to get into a relationship with a Russian lady to try and set up presidential candidates, including Hillary and Trump. It was really, really crazy to hear him talk. I mean, to hear him talk was like looking behind the curtain to see what's really going on with our country. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. Here you have this guy on television saying different things, and it's like he's revealing to you a whole different world. When he was on CNN and Chris Cuomo was trying to like push back, talking about, oh, but don't have evidence, this, that, and the third. He was like, look, man, we don't have time for the kindergarten stuff, man. Like one thing he said really stuck out to me. He was like, the world you're speaking of, I'm light years beyond that. And when he said that, it really kind of struck a chord because I'm like, okay, this guy, people like that, high-ranking people, big money people that are in these kind of positions, because you got to understand, a CEO is an employee of a company for the most part. Not all the time, but usually they are an employee of a company. And they don't get that position for nothing. They don't make millions per year for nothing. You got to be a certain kind of individual. You got to be plugged into certain kind of people in order to make that kind of money, in order to have that kind of responsibility to lead a whole company, corporation, whatever the case may be. Okay. So you are in a whole different world than the average everyday normie out there just going to work for a living. You understand what I'm saying? So what Chris Cuomo was talking about may be a better question for just your regular Joe. Like, let's say I go to CNN and I talk about, oh, the FBI is corrupt because I saw something on somewhere. The questions would be asked to me, and then I'm expected to answer it. But a guy like Patrick Byrne, who's in this higher level of individuals in the country that really control things, those questions aren't for him. But I'm not seeing a lot of media coverage about this. Maybe I've just been kind of out of the loop. But I've not seen a ton of media coverage about what Patrick Byrne said. I'm going to do a video about it to get some more light on the situation because it deserves a light. It most certainly deserves a light because what he said was crazy. He basically said that the federal government contacted him to get him to set up Donald Trump. I think it might have been Ted Cruz and some other people, maybe even Hillary Clinton during the 2016 campaign. Okay, so you have deep state operatives being revealed right there. People say that Trump and many others are, conspiracy theorists talking about the deep state. But meanwhile, you have a high ranking person, a big money guy, getting on TV and admitting that there's an actual deep state. So much so that he resigned, he stepped down from his job as the CEO of Overstock. Okay, so you don't just step down from a job like that to like, why would you step down from a job like that to then go on and say a lie? It doesn't make any sense. Some said, oh, he made the whole story up. He's crazy. Well, if he's crazy, then why was he the CEO of Overstock? I just don't understand. You can't be a lunatic and be in that position. That's just not how things work. You can be voted out. You can be forced out, whatever. That's kind of how it's going to be. You'll have things put out there about you. You'll be removed from that position if you are incompetent, one way or another, whether you're going to voluntarily do it because you don't want to do it anymore or because you're forced down. Why was he not forced down at all? If he was not in his right state of mind before he came out with those comments about the FBI and the whole Russia situation, if he was not in his right state of mind before that, he would have already been forced out of the company. It's simple. No, he's not crazy at all. People try to say he's crazy, but, you can't just say. So the thing about calling somebody crazy is that it's dismissive. Oh, whatever they're saying, it sounds absurd. It sounds ridiculous. I think they're crazy. Maybe they're not crazy. Maybe they have a legitimate actual grievance. Maybe what they're saying is actually true and you should listen. Much of what you hear on the mainstream media is false or it's misleading to the point where it can be categorized as false. Like, if I say a true thing, but I phrase it in a certain way that makes you think I said something else, that's a lie because my intention was to deceive you. But this guy here is just not really on that. Not at all. So the mainstream media, they're not really trying to cover that. They're trying to go with their narrative they normally push, which is generally lies. Or like I said, kind of like misleading things that are said in a certain way that makes you think of something else. So it's also a lie. Lying by omission, lying by intentional oversight, intentional exclusion of certain words, oversight, exclusion of context, so you don't know what's really going on. They'll tell you a story that happened, but they won't give you the backstory. They'll say, oh, young black male shot by police with his hands up. Okay, you'll hear that part and be like, oh, injustice, Black Lives Matter. But you didn't hear the whole story before that where they said that he shot 2 kids in the head. He was on the run for a year. He beat an old lady up and then he put his hands up because he just didn't want to get shot in the end when he went on a high-speed chase and ran over a police officer and broke his leg. You don't hear about the whole thing happened before that. All you hear is the end, and you judge based on the end. That's what they want you to do rather than hearing the whole story to give your own opinion with the full facts. So that's what that is. But shout out to everybody that's watching. I definitely appreciate you. Please give the video a thumbs up if you hear. The likes are free. Sharing it is free. All that good stuff. Oh, Hassan Piker. Let's talk about Hassan Piker right quick. Hassan Piker. Now, this guy is a stomp down nut. 1,000%. And the thing about him is that he's Muslim, of course, or I don't want to say he's Muslim. I don't know his religion specifically, but he's Turkish. And he moved to the United States when he was like 10 years old. So I would assume that if he is not Muslim, he grew up in that kind of environment, in that kind of culture. And he is also Sink, whatever his name is, from the Young Turks. That's his nephew. So Cenk from the Young Turks is Hassan Piker's uncle. Okay, they're blood related, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be by marriage. But anyway, probably blood related. So Hassan Piker is a Twitch streamer, I suppose, and also kind of a political commentator. And he was on Twitch talking about 9/11 for some reason. Oh, he was reviewing, quote unquote, reviewing the Joe Rogan podcast featuring Dan Crenshaw. Now, we all know Dan Crenshaw got injured in Afghanistan, lost his eye, almost was completely blind for ever. He was blind for a while temporarily, but through surgeries, he was able to get sight back in one eye, but lost the other eye. Anyway, he's talking about them and criticizing his knowledge of, foreign affairs and whatnot. And then it got to 9/11 talking about, Americans deserved it, this, that, and the third. And then he called them Mujahideen, brave soldiers. See, that's somebody right there that's just trying to play with their ideology or with their perceived ideology to be edgy. It's a lot of guys like that out there on the internet trying to be edgy who play with certain stuff like that. But see, people don't really take too well to that all the time, which is why it's edgy. You're right on the edge, and sometimes you might just fall over the edge. But I can't give him that excuse or that cop out to say, oh, he's just being edgy. At the end of the day, he is showing you what kind of individual he really is, right? And a lot of individuals on the left would show you that, but they're afraid. So he's just giving you what the average leftist is all the time anyway. It ain't really nothing new at all. That's just who he is. But unfortunately for him, it got out to the media, and now you try to backtrack it talking about, oh, I was talking about foreign policy and what America did to Libya, this, that, and the third. No. You were talking about 9/11, how innocent people deserve to have what happened to them happen. That's what you did. And then you mocked Dan Crenshaw talking about his eye. Really, and the way he was talking, it's like a child. Do you remember when you were like 8 years old? Well, I do. I can't speak for everybody else. But when I was like 8, 9 years old, I discovered the curse word, and then I would say it like to my friends in school. We were like, "Ooh, you gonna get in trouble." That's kind of what he was doing on the stream. You understand? Just random curse words for no reason, really edgy. The dude got to be about 30-something years old. If he's not quite there, he's on his way. He's like a big baby, though. And a moron on top of that, and then you combine that with being an extreme liberal, probably an extreme Muslim leftist, you just got a bad person overall. He got suspended from Twitch, but I wonder for how long. I've seen him get suspended from Twitch for like a day or two in the past. I wonder how long he gets suspended from Twitch. Who knows? I tell you what, though. Yeah, he removed the stream, of course, because he didn't realize it would get that much attention from the world. Yeah, so he had to do that. He didn't want to, because he's on Twitch. He's a streamer. He does not want to really ruin his brand that way. But that's his fault, though. When you edgy like that, that's kind of what is the deal. That's kind of what happens. Thank you, Jerry. Hopefully I said your name correctly. I appreciate that 100%. And sorry for my phone going off. Yeah, a potty mouth big baby, 100%. Absolutely. So what else we got here? David Koch. I talked about David Koch yet? Yeah, I think I talked about David Koch already. David Koch. I mean, people have mixed reactions. What is your opinion about David Koch? Do you think that he was like some kind of deep state operative? Was he like the reason why all wars in the whole world have started? What is people's exact reason for hating David Koch? That's what I want to know. I keep hearing about the Koch brothers being bad, but nobody ever says why they're bad. So I don't really know a lot about this whole shit. I don't know a lot about it. All I know is that he was a libertarian philanthropist. That's all I know. That's all that has been confirmed to me, but I don't know anything else. I don't know any of the stories that I never hear any stories. I just hear that the Koch brothers are bad because they got big money and they're bad. But why are they bad? Why did Bill Maher say that he's glad that David Koch died? I don't really understand. If you know, fill me in. Because I've not been able to find information. Even when I was kind of like really, really deep into the rabbit hole, learning about everything, when I got to the Koch brothers, I couldn't really find what the hook was with them that made them bad. So I'd like to know what is the actual issue with the Koch brothers. Why is it good that he actually died? Okay. He was a better one. Is he fun to open borders? Is that true? Oh, shout out to L. Ron Humperdinck who said, saw me and get a job. Okay. Shout out to that. But I'm going to look for some answers to that thing about David Koch. Let me see. Do with a lot of money. Hold on. Let me see. I missed that one. It says Koch was scum. He supported internet censorship, worked with Soros. Okay. All right. Thank you, Euripides Ghost. I appreciate you. They were descendants of murderers from Germany. They made, descendants of murderers. What does that got to do with them, though? You see what I'm saying? Like, if your dad killed somebody, like if my dad was to kill somebody, is it my fault? No, it's not. That's the whole slavery argument. You're white, so you're responsible for slavery. No, Ain't nobody alive today responsible for slavery. If slavery happened in the past and your ancestors were involved, that's their business. I got nothing to do with me. It's not my fault. Let me see. Okay, so you work with Soros. Let me see. Far left, open border, censorship brothers. Now, what did they try to do? Tucker trash Koch brothers. Okay, I'm gonna look. If there was any evidence, if there's a clip of Tucker doing that, I'm gonna see it, and then I'm gonna see what he says. There's no dirt on the Kochs. I couldn't find any, but like I said, I couldn't find it, but maybe I missed it. Who knows? Let me see. Koch brothers were open borders and low wage worker advocates, and they were neocons. Okay. Hollywood didn't like them. Remember the movie The Candidate? Okay. Koch brothers have been showing the Democrats the money lately, open border stuff. So that's the main thing I keep seeing, open borders. So I need to look into that. Libertarians, one thing about libertarians is that they're not conservatives. That's one thing that we got to kind of understand. They're not conservatives at all. They're like fence riders, in my opinion. That's just me. Nothing against any libertarians, but they're kind of like in the middle. They don't really have, they're not going to support either side fully. They may support certain sides when it benefits them. If it makes sense for their particular narrative or for their agenda, they'll support one side or the other. Okay. That's probably right. It says, my man BJ Childers says they were just rich, good people. You know, total neocon. He was white and funded a right-wing movement. That's all the left needs. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a lot, but I'm sure you guys will call in a little bit later and tell me a lot more. 100%. And shout out to the super chatters right quick before we get to some more of the show. Thank you to Michael Cody, who says Chink and the Young Turks are funded by dark forces. They're well funded by dark forces. Also funded by Qatar, like the country over the Middle East. You know, that's something we want to talk about there. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Julie Nelson, who says, only one request. Please stop using the term Pocahontas when referring to Warren. Too unkind to natives. Thank you for your consideration. Well, I thank you for your donation. I definitely appreciate you, but I might not be able to do that one. It might be a little bit too tall of an ask for me. But thank you for your donation. Thank you to Kim B, who says, just watch Thomas Sotomayor's Fatherless America. We must stop the bastardization of our children. So is that out? Shout out to Tommy for getting that out. Remember, he was trying to get that off the ground. So congrats to him for finalizing that project. I'm gonna go watch it. Is it a pay thing? I'll pay for it to support my man and what he's doing. But thank you for your donation. Thank you to Michael Cody again, who says, greetings from the Bronx, New York. ABL, thanks for all you do. Hey, thank you for what you do and your support. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Miriam Vidal, who says, has the mainstream media even spoken about Russia since late July? What a crock. They can't. The Russia narrative is dead. Russia is over. Now they got to shift to racism. The sky is falling on the economy. The Dow's doing bad. He's crazy. His advisors say that he's nuts. This, that, and the third. Unnamed sources. They got to go that route because there's no more Russian narrative to push. The Bob Mueller thing was a total nothing burger. It collapsed into a heap of nothing. It just didn't produce any viable fruit to be able to eat, so they have nothing left. But thank you for your donation. Shout out to my man Jonestown Autopsy, who said this is Don Lemon's hand, and there's some emojis there. But thank you for your donation. Thank you to Kulichi. Hopefully I didn't butcher your name. 077, who says future Prius owner, Green New Deal. Haha. Hey, my dad had a Prius for a long time. Like one of the first one they ever had. The thing about a Prius, the thing about any vehicle like that that's electric mostly, is that you're going to sacrifice on the power. I almost got a Kia Rio. That's like a small SUV that's electric. It has great gas mileage, but if you're living in the hilly area, good luck, man, because if you're trying to climb a steep hill, it's going to be a challenge. You might not be able to do it. So if you live in a beachy area, flat area, or you're not really worried about, climbing steep hills, you can get a Prius or something like that. But if you are worried about that, then get you a regular a four banger, 6-cylinder or something like that. Don't get no Prius. And thank you to Jess for your donation. I definitely appreciate you as well. All right. Spike Lee. What about Spike Lee? What does Spike Lee do lately? Oh, I did see the Rapper 10,000. The Rapper 10,000 says, have I seen that Simpson clip that has a squad attack Trump? Now, I did not see them attack him. I just saw a piece of it. You know, I saw a piece of it where he had like a picture of him and he was talking about him, but I didn't see the exact thing. The Simpsons used to be a great show, fantastic show, but lately, I don't know. I think it's just been on too long. You can't be on for like 30 years and have excellent content. I mean, at a certain point, you're going to be just talking about the news. You don't have any more original concepts for your show. I mean, there's not much where you can do. A lot of the shows that are out today have a lot of the same concepts that you've seen over and over again in other shows, just packaged differently. But you can't package it differently on the same show. All you're going to do now is just bring in stuff from real life and bring it into the show and reenact it in a creative, quote unquote, creative kind of way, which in their case is going to be a SJW way. So that's what that is. The Democrats now calling the squad anti-Semitic. Hey, I love it. I think that was the intention of Trump to talk about them and many of us as well. Oh, yeah. Like if you have I'm telling you, any kind of electric car like that, the horsepower just ain't going to be there. It's going to be a problem. Like I said, if you're living in a flatland area, you can get a Prius or any kind of electric vehicle like that. But if you gotta have power, don't do it. You can get a hybrid. That's different though, because it's not totally electric. It's electric and gas combined. But if you're gonna plug your car into a wall or something like that, well, or a Tesla or something. Like if you're gonna get an electric car, you know, spend some money, you get some firepower. But a Prius, I don't know. But shout out to Dixie George, who says, love to you, ABL, and all my friends in here. And thank you for your donation and your very kind words. I definitely appreciate you. And shout out to Valerie Rogers, who says, say, Pocahontas, love you. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate you. Fake Pocahontas, that'll work. Who else? Oh, shout out to Duder, who says, thoughts on Hong Kong and of a Chinese revolution. Well, Hong Kong is fighting a good fight, but it may be for naught. Or they may not get all of what they want. Well, I'll tell you right now, they won't get all of what they want. China is too big. And you're not going to have anybody to interfere with Hong Kong from the outside. No foreign interests are going to interfere. Because if you interfere with Hong Kong, like let's say we go over there and try to help Hong Kong, we have now waged war against China. And we're not going to be able to win that war. It's simple. Too many people, too much money. It just makes no sense. So I'm not sure what you can actually do. All Hong Kong can do is to resist on their own and try to have some level of sovereignty. The issue with Hong Kong is that when they were transferred from the British to the Chinese, they were given rights for 50 years. That's going to expire in 2047. They got a constitution. They got, freedom of speech. That's that and the third. I think they call it like basic law. That's like their constitution or a similar equivalent. Anyway, those basic laws exist now, but they're going to expire in 2047. So China is trying to get the ball rolling right now to make that full transition complete, to get away from the basic law from the British and get into the Chinese Communist Party law. They're trying to get it done because they don't want to wait until 2047 and then be like, okay, we got to just transfer it over. No, they're trying to get it cracking right now. And Hong Kong does not like that, of course, because why would you want to go from basically a Western city to a communist city? It doesn't make any sense, especially when you're a city that's doing very well economically, that China simply wants for its own GDP to improve and to take that money from Hong Kong and spread it throughout all of China. It'll make Hong Kong poorer. It'll make them worse off as a city. But that is what the Chinese government wants. So they're going to fight, hopefully, to be able to keep some of their sovereignty. But it doesn't look too good, in my humble opinion. Thank you to my man Nathan Shield, who says, people drive too much. I drive big old gas hogs, and I still only fill up once a week, sometimes once a week and a half. I'm right there with you, man, for sure. People drive too much. They drive very short distances unnecessarily. So So thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. I'm right there with you. Shout out to Jamal Brown who says, "Hey ABL, solid follower. Hey, thank you, man. I recognize you. And I appreciate your support as always, man. Definitely appreciate you." Greenland. Yeah, the whole thing about Greenland, people said it was like a farce. It was kind of stupid to ask, but why is it dumb to ask to buy Greenland? Because we bought Alaska from the Russian Empire in 1867. So why would it be absurd to buy Greenland from the Kingdom of Denmark? It'd be the same thing we did with Alaska. And the purpose is for the natural resources and also for some control over the Arctic region. That's going to be a very important part of the world coming up here in the next few years, really right now, because you have shipping lanes. Because like look at what's happening right now with the Gulf of Aden and the Strait of Hormuz and the all this stuff with Iran seizing ships and stuff. So you got to have alternate ways. Also, South China Sea, China's over that. They're building fake islands and putting military bases on it to defend against that. So how are you going to be able to get goods from point A to point B? Okay, how about let's go all the way up north and go through the Arctic Ocean. There's no landmass right there. It's just ice. So you can definitely just swim right across it. Not literally, but you understand, especially when it's warm where it's not as much ice. So people are trying to dominate that right now. You're trying to get Sweden, Norway, Denmark, Germany, Russia, China, United States, Canada. Everybody wants that part of the world. So if you buy Greenland, that'll give you a leg up on the whole situation. And you got military dominance. We could put a military base right there at the top of Greenland. Okay, so it didn't make sense logistically for us. But to those on the outside that don't understand geopolitics, it just seems kind of silly. And people want to mock it like it's, you know what I'm saying? But that's just the mind of the person that doesn't really understand these things. That's why I try to be educated a little bit so I can explain things to people so they will understand, because we don't really have time to be looking at politics and really understanding what's going on. People got kids, they got to work. They don't have time for this, but that's why I'm here. I dedicate my time to learning this information. But thank y'all for being here. I most certainly appreciate you. Hey, that's a great trade right there, Cro-Minion. We could trade California to Denmark for Greenland. Hey, that's even, fair and square. We could take that 100% all day long. It'll be valuable land when poles shift. It's valuable right now, but definitely more valuable back then. At that point in time, you can grow stuff on it and everything else. How we going to pay for it? Hey, who knows? Maybe you could trade like what China's doing right now with Africa. China is taking stuff from Africa without even paying money. China is getting oil plots from Nigeria without any kind of money being exchanged. Matter of fact, they'll sell China money to have China build something for them. And then when they can't pay the debt on the money back, when they can make the payments of the money that they sold them back, they will say, okay, we'll cancel the debt, but how about we just take over that thing we bought for you right now? So they made them buy China's own railroad or something like that in Nigeria. I'm not saying we should do that, but I'm saying there's ways to actually buy a thing without really spending money. You can get things done. Oh, there we go. I didn't even know that. Stymie says, ABL, we already have a presence military-wise in Greenland. There it is. There it is. So we already got it. So if there's already a base or a presence in Greenland, then why is it such a absurd thing to say that we should buy it or that to inquire about buying it? It's simple. Yep. All the resources, oil, gold, coal, silver, copper. There you go. Okay, even better. Edward says we can give Cali back to Mexico and buy Greenland instead. Hey, we could do that. Give them California back and their debt. How about that? They got all that debt. If Mexico wants it, they can have them and their debt. That debt goes away. The liability goes away. You can build a wall up in, the Jefferson part of California, all the way down along Nevada, Arizona, to Tijuana, and then all the way to South Padre Island, Texas. Have it go all the way like that. L shape, hook shape, whatever you want to call it. Okay. So that's what that is. But thank y'all for being here. Definitely appreciate you. I thank y'all for joining. You are watching ABL Live. If you're just not coming in, please give the video a like, give the video a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you did it 100%. Oh, and Greenland is not that big either. You may see the Mercator projection where it looks humongous, but it ain't that big. Let me see if I can put it on my screen right quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it on my screen. Okay, you see how big Greenland looks right there? But it's not really that big. You know, it's really, there we go. It's really about the size of the cinch. It's like these states right here. Do you see my mouse on? It's like about that big. It's big. Don't get it twisted, but it ain't that big. This is a Mercator projection. The true map will be a globe. So that's what that is. If I can zoom out, I can show you, but it won't let me give you the globe. Let me see. Hey, the Great Wall of America, I'm with it. All right, so let's go ahead and get into some calls here in a moment. The number to call, hold on, before I get to the calls, I'm read the chat a little bit more before I go ahead and get into it. Oh, and if you're not subscribed already, I don't know what you're waiting on. Go ahead and subscribe right now. I'd appreciate that. Yeah, Greenland looks big, but it's not. It's not as big as it looks. It's big, but it's not that big. It's like Greenland is like the size of the Congo, of the big Congo, DRC. Let me see. The Menace Parable says Greenland is where they film Mars footage, man. They can't switch the mind control program ABL. That's probably Area 51 where they film moon stuff and Mars stuff at. It's Area 51. Shout out to Captain Von Erich, who says, do we have an asylum role to play for the people of Hong Kong? How much? That's a good question, but I don't think they really want asylum here. I think they want sovereignty. That's different. See, I respect Hong Kongers because Hong Kongers ain't trying to come to the U.S., not necessarily. You know, they're not trying to flee what's happening in their country, I suppose, but not really country, in their city, where they live, their region. They don't want to flee what's happening there. They want to fight it head on and do something about it. Unlike the people that live in other parts of the world, like Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, whatever, they don't want to actually fight what's happening. They want to flee. And the reason they want to flee is because they're trying to get paid. They're trying to get money. They're not really fleeing no violence. Like, it is what it is. Yeah, a general maps are the Mercator projection map is not accurate. The only you got to get a globe because we're a sphere. We're not a flat thing. Now, some may say that we are flat, but don't go there. Just don't do it. We're not flat. It's just not the case. But a globe is the only true map. The Mercator projection is used more for like navigation. If you're on a boat or something, if I'm not mistaken. If wrong, let me know. But that's not really an accurate map. It gives you a general, like if you zoomed in, then you could see the flat map and it makes sense. Like if you're looking at a state or a city, it makes sense on the flat map. But once you go out and look at our entire landmass, like a continent, then it's not accurate at all. It's somewhat close to what it is, but not really. And also having America right in the center, that's just something that we do because it makes sense for us because it's about navigation to get to right here. But there's no real right way to look at it at the end of the day. Now, somebody asked me, have I ever thought about going on Candace Owens' podcast? I'd love to. Absolutely. So if Candace, if you're watching, hey, bring me on. I'd love to be on there. Hey, if she was to invite me on, I'd definitely be there 100%. If you guys have not seen that podcast that she did with David Clark, Sheriff David Clark, the retired sheriff now, if I'm not mistaken, you got to watch it. It really touched me, seriously. So you got to watch that 100%. Sadiq Robinson's mad, but it's all right. I like when trolls come in because, a troll today is a fan tomorrow. That's kind of how that is. The earth is not flat, man. Let's not even do that right now. But who else we got? Thank you to Rebel who said, "Sup, player, keep America great, y'all." Hey, thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you to Shivs Moto Nady for your donation. I definitely appreciate you, boss. But let's go ahead and get into the calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. I'm going to turn on Skype. Hopefully it works out for me. Hopefully it doesn't just decide to act up and do what it wants to do. Let's see if we can get it really rocking and rolling. Okay, it wants to install itself again, of course. Yeah, the earth is not flat. Y'all got to stop with that, man. I mean, the globe is, if the earth was flat, there's so many things that don't make any sense. Like, it just don't make no sense, man, at the end of the day. Hold on. All right, 214, you're online. Who am I speaking to? Everything's good, man. About yourself?
Yeah, man, I got a lot of knowledge to spill, yo. I'm kind of worried about Trump. I think, okay, well, let me ask you a question. Do you think we're going to win 2020?
Yes, I do. Absolutely.
Okay, now that is what I fear. Now, the reason I figured this out was because my PS4 broke, and so I had to get hold on, let me turn this down. Roku. The thing is, the PS4, every time, I'd log into it, it recognizes me, so it feeds me. And what I'm being fed is Trump's winning. We're winning. We got hashtag walk away. We're doing well. Everything is looking good. We're looking better every day. But whenever my PS4 broke, I couldn't afford another one. And for a while, I just went without it. But then I started going through withdrawals and twitching. And I was like, oh, my God, I got to get my YouTube fixed. So I started looking around, and I found that you could get Roku for like $29. So I did that, got it back up and running. The thing is, the Roku didn't know me. The Roku didn't recognize me. I wasn't counted in, if you can kind of recognize what I'm telling you. And what it was feeding me was the narrative, Trump is losing. We hate Trump. Don't ride with Trump. And I kind of recognized it, and I feared it. I said, wow, check this out. It wasn't giving me all of my regular run-of-the-mill thumbnails. It was giving me something that was pushing me to a direction. Now, we as YouTubers, I love my YouTube creators. I mean, shout out to all of them. Anyways, I'm not going to name them on your show.
I got you.
But
so, like, sir, can you, like, I'm going to cut you off, but like, you got to get me to like where you want to go with what you're saying here. I can hear what you're saying, but like, you're talking about.
We are going to lose.
Now, why you say that?
We are YouTube creators. We are taking on the likes of MSM, mainstream media, MSNBC, CNN. Oh, and here's a shout out. This is special. It needs to be heard. Boycott CNN. We need to boycott CNN. Anytime I click on or see a CNN icon, okay, I want to see 20 views. I think that's important.
I got you. But see, the thing about it is we had the same thing going on last time. It was the same situation. The mainstream media was in bed with the Democrats. Hillary Clinton had twice the money that Donald Trump had, and it was just us, the people, the YouTubers, and the alternative media that were able to get Trump elected. And the truth is that Hillary Clinton is stronger and was stronger than everybody that's on the stage right now today. So if she could not win in 2016, how can a weaker person win now with the same kind of situation going on? It's just there's been no change.
That's something that I've seen also. I just seen this the other day, and I highly recommend it. And if, I don't know if you can pull it up and show it, but it's Ted Cruz is talking to this one guy who works with and I don't oh wow, you know what? I do have it wrote down. A liberal professor warns Google manipulating votes. Now, what he said was that they were overconfident. That's why they didn't push it, because if they had, they would have won.
So what? So was that? So was that? So hold on, caller. So what was that last year when they did that?
No, it was this year. You got to see it. You got a pen. You got to.
No. I'm talking about when Google manipulated votes. When did it manipulate votes?
Yeah. 2016.
So okay. So basically, it was last time when they did that, but it didn't make a difference, did it?
Well, you got to see the video. It clarifies it. Like I said, it'll shock you. I mean, it's shocking. They're like I said, they're manipulating me through my YouTube views, and they're manipulating Democrats. Here's like I said, here's my thing. Think about all the people who don't YouTube. Think about all the old folks. You know, the older. You know, all demographics. They go home from work. They turn on their TVs. They watch regular TV. And then they watch the news.
Right.
And you know how the bias is used. They're using subliminal messaging. They're using a whole bunch of stuff on these people, and they're also using it on us.
I got you.
Keeping us, and they're using. I believe they're using it on Trump. Trump is, they've got us all in a portion where they want us. They know how to read.
I got you.
Read this stuff.
So
that's what I fear.
Well, I see your point. I see your point. Basically, being overconfident, it can't be a bad thing. We don't want to just say, okay, we got to end the bag and not actually go out there and do anything. We got to go out there and show up the same way we did last time and more.
Put the work in.
You got to put the work in.
You're putting work in. But my question to you at the beginning of the conversation was, do you think we're going to win? You're saying it's a shoe-in. Now I'm saying, look at what we're up against. Dude, it's
the same thing. It's the same thing we had last time.
With the block on your shoulders, dude, the power of Google.
But listen. Here, listen, caller. Listen to what I'm saying though. Nothing has changed since the last time. Google was powerful in 2016. The mainstream media, sir. Hold on. Let me finish, sir. Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Google was powerful in 2016. The mainstream media were powerful in 2016. The Democratic Party was powerful in 2016. They had more money. They had everything, and they still lost. So there's no change. There's nothing that's changed. The only thing that's changed now is you have the incumbent. Hold on. I'm not done. The incumbent is the only thing that's changed, and it's more difficult to get an incumbent out of office. It's just, so I get your point, but for the sake of time, I got to get to my next call, man. Thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
Right on, but let me leave you with one.
30 seconds, because we got to go.
Okay, well, you kind of got to write it down. It's that liberal professor warns of Google manipulating. I wish you could pull it up now, but like I said, if you watch that, he explains why they didn't back then. He literally explains it, and he explains how they're going to push it forward to a whole new level this time.
I got you.
Like I said, it's already happening.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
It's us against the
Thank you for the call.
Thank you. You have a good one.
All right, now.
Bye.
I'm sorry if he had headphones on. I'm sorry because of the ringing real loud like that. But yeah, I mean, I got what he was saying. Don't be overconfident. Yeah, you can't be overconfident. That's going to not be good for you at all. Act like you're going to lose, but at the same time, I don't see a purpose in really being, I don't see the purpose in being defeatist. Like you're going to, like you have no, like you can't get beyond Google. I think there's much more transparency now into what Google is doing than there was in the past. So I think you were in a better situation today. The candidate is stronger. The candidates on the other side are weaker. The alternative media has become stronger. So I'm not really afraid of losing at this particular point in time. Look at who's the leading candidate over there. Joe Biden, 77 years old. I mean, does that really scream to you? Does that scream like confidence to you? But let me get to my next call. 571, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Good afternoon, Anthony. My name is Nicholas. We spoke a week or so ago. I'm the Grednik, the Greek guy from West Virginia.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember.
Yeah.
All right. A couple of points, if I may. To the previous caller that said that we're going to lose and all that stuff, uh, I would uh, I would encourage everybody to follow your advice and listen to the interview between Candace Owens and Sheriff Clark. He mentioned something there that we should always approach every election as if we're going to lose because people get complacent, they sit down, and they just don't go out to vote. I do see a lot of increased um, movements from the media, which is predominantly liberal, to try and influence election with, with the R's, Russia. What else was it? Uh, the R's about President Trump. One was Russia. The other one was racism, and I don't remember the third one. You hear all these things, but then again, if you actually look, you have creators such as yourself that are trying to open other people's eyes. We have Blexit, we have the Latino exit, Lexit, I think it's called, and so more and more people are getting engaged through media. So don't despair. I do believe that we are going to win, but we cannot be complacent. With regards to the Koch brothers, the only thing that I have heard personally was that they were mostly philanthropists that would just spend their money into giving for organizations, predominantly conservative-based ones or libertarian ones. And the reason they were vilified is because they are conservatives. Think about it this way. How many bad things people have heard about the Koch brothers and how many bad things people have heard about, let's say, George Soros or any other liberal super billionaire that is trying to influence through super PACs and all that stuff. My heart goes out to his family. I hope he's in a better place than where he's at, and that would pretty much be the end of it. And this one brings me to my last point, something that I would like the wonderful audience there to consider. And a small reminder, I come from Greece, a socialist country, and I came here legally. And there is a reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, because I've seen that the grass is not greener on the other side. People should actually consider what is the difference between a conservative and a liberal. And once you realize the difference, then that might help you formulate a good opinion about where you want to stand. So it was described to me once that the conservatives are the party of peace and the liberals are the party of violence, if you like. Here's where that binds to. So, conservatives, keep more of your money. I don't care where you sleep. I don't care who you sleep with. I don't care what you do in your house. Do it in your own house. Don't make me pay for it. And pretty much I'm staying, and I just want to live my own life. On the liberal side of things, no, guns are bad. Guns are bad. Women need to have the right to murder their children and so on and so forth. So on one hand, you have kind of like peace. Leave me alone. I'll live my life and you live your own life. And on the other side, you have violence. Talk to the child that is being aborted, what violence means. And also, if you're going to take everybody's guns away, how are you going to do it? You're going to send armed people to come and take my guns away. So that's violence too. Very simple examples, but I'm just trying to drive it home to make people think how the dichotomy exists. Thank you for all you do, and have a blessed evening to you and everybody that's listening and watching.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye.
All right, fantastic call. Great call from my man as always. He's Greek, but he came from West Virginia also. Like, he came from Greece, went to my birthplace, Charleston, West Virginia. So shout out to my man for the call. Great one, of course. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Hey, the callers I have, I'm telling you, come from all over the world. Very intelligent people, great people, a great diversity of people. Not just in how they look, but how they think and how they talk and all that good stuff. All righty. Let me see. No calls at the moment. You guys go ahead and call in. Super chat. So I got a couple of super chats. I think I got everything. Oh, somebody asked me, Kalichi 007 asked me, ABL, any good book, movie you've read, seen recently? I had to get back to you on that one. Let me get to my next call. All right, let's get to 817 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, Zorro. How are you, ABL?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm turning off my speakers here because of the time lag. Yeah, that first caller, he made a good point that we shouldn't get overconfident, but I do have some cause for optimism because I wasn't even really a Trump supporter back in 2016. Honestly, back in 2016, I didn't really like any of the candidates. But now I'm full on with Trump, and I did donate to his campaign because he seemed like the least of the evils, as they say. Because, I was buying into what the media was selling and stuff a little bit, but not totally. But I plan on increasing my donation to him in 2020, and I see so many great YouTubers out there, and it seems like the message is getting out despite the mainstream media.
100%. I mean, it was the same thing last time. I mean, the alternative media, in my humble opinion, were driving a lot of the narrative, and the mainstream media was trying to fight against it. But it's kind of like a failing effort. That's why they tried to attack us, because they know that a lot of their platforms are dying or they're losing numbers. Just like Brian Stelter over on CNN lost like half of his viewers. Same thing, Rachel Maddow over on MS-13 NBC. So they know that their influence is starting to dwindle and ours is picking up. And then you have a president that has a lot of popularity. I mean, the rallies are just, wall to wall. Not so much for the other side. We see where the interest lies. We see where the popularity is. All we got to keep doing is just, keep pushing the way we've been doing it. The mainstream media has influence, but not as much as it had in the past, because if that were the case, then it wouldn't have been possible for Trump to win last time, because the mainstream media were all in for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, exactly. They really tried to shove Hillary down our throats. She had the media. She had all the money. I was pleasantly surprised that Trump won the election. I really was shocked. And I caught up with an old friend of mine that I haven't seen since childhood, and I asked him how he felt about the wall, building the wall, and he said, I'm all about that wall. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of us that are closet Trump supporters. We don't want to come out and wear red hats and stuff because we see people getting their brains beat out for wearing a hat, but I'm looking for a sea of red on the Electoral College map in 2020.
Oh, 100%. I'm right there with you. Especially since the left, they don't really have anybody they don't have the Barack Obama effect. There's nobody dynamic over there. Like their whole thing, they talk about, we hate the white man and old rich white men. Okay, you got Joe Biden, 77 years old white man, and I'm sure he's not a poor person. So it's like the very thing that they say they hate all the time, that's what they have right there. So how is a person like that going to drive enthusiasm? And then the rest of the pack, they're not really good out there on the campaign trail. They're not able to really get money from people that matter. So they're not in a good situation. They don't have enough to be able to counter. So all of what they're able to push towards us, in my humble opinion, won't be more than what we have to push in the opposite direction. But like what was said earlier, we can't just act like we have it in the bag, because it could go the other way. It may be improbable, but it is possible.
Yeah, I agree. We need to show up and vote, but I think they shot themselves in the foot speaking Spanish in that first debate. I think a lot of people saw that and said, "Oh my gosh, what on earth is this?"
Yeah, that was really crazy. I mean, people, they don't want to call themselves racist or any kind of other ist, but at a certain point, it's like, come on, like, what are we doing? Speaking Spanish? Like, this is America. It's just going a little bit too far. They've been going for a long period of time at this point, and your average everyday Democrat that's not really political, they just happen to be a default Democrat, are starting to see this, and they're saying, wait a minute, what is this? I'm not really comfortable with signing up for this. I don't want to be a part of this time. So they may just stay home or decide to get involved and vote in the other direction.
Yeah, I think you're right. I saw someone in the chat box earlier ask if you had read any good books or anything lately. I have recently listened to an audiobook by Tucker Carlson, Ship of Fools, and he talks about how far the Democratic Party has sailed to the left and how they used to champion workers' rights and they wanted border security. They didn't want illegals coming in, and now they're totally 180 degrees different.
Yeah. Now I've not read that, but I've heard about it, and what he's saying is correct. They're going totally in the opposite direction, but at a certain point, they can't really do anything to fix that. They can't reverse course. They can't. They're in too deep at this point because they've gone on this direction. They've been able to build kind of a base of people. That's why they got so many votes during the 2016 election. But at the same time, the votes came from just small locations geographically, but big population-wise. Your LA County, New York City, Chicago, Illinois, etc. So that's not going to be enough to that can't win you an election. But if they go the opposite direction, they'll get even less than what they had before. So they're kind of stuck, and they keep having to up the ante, which is why Trump is trying to make the squad be the face of the Democratic Party. They're going so far to the left, and if the Democrats don't acquiesce to what they're doing, they're going to lose a lot of their support. So they're being pushed all the way into a corner, and that's where they're going to be, and it'll make them have that 180-degree turn forever, really.
Yeah, I don't see them coming back to the middle anytime soon. They're so far out in left field. I think I'm eager to see what 2020 brings.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, well, I'll let you go. I know you got other callers. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I really enjoy your videos, and you just come across as such a genuinely good guy. I like you, even though I haven't met you in person.
Well, thank you for that, man. That means a lot to me. I try to just be myself, so hopefully that comes across.
Yeah, you seem like a great guy, and I appreciate you taking my call. You have a good night, sir.
All right, same to you now.
Bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, I just try to bring myself. That's one thing I tell anybody. If you're trying to be a YouTuber, if you're trying to be a personality, just be you, because if you are a genuine person, you are a good person, people will like you for you. So that's what I just try to be all the time. Just be genuine, be myself. But let me get to the next call. 240, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's your boy JB. What's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Everything, man. Black media is losing their daggone mind. Black social media is losing their mind. Talking about Jay-Z sell them out. He's been sold us out. What are you talking about? What's new?
Nah, it ain't nothing new. But see, the thing about him, the thing about Jay-Z is that he was on this whole Colin Kaepernick wave, wearing Colin Kaepernick's jersey, doing performances, and then he comes out and says, "Oh well, no, I'm getting money with the NFL." What y'all talking about? We passed kneeling. Everybody's all mad, but why would you be upset when this person has already revealed themselves to you before? You know who he is. You knew he was a snake from the beginning, so don't be surprised when he bites you.
Exactly. That's people don't understand. That's the stuff you understand. All these black leaders, they're all in for the money. They're only with you to benefit their narrative, to get money in their pocket, line their pockets up. I ain't mad at Jay-Z. I tell everybody, and I ain't mad at Kaepernick. Everybody said, well, Kaepernick took a knee for us. He didn't take a knee for me. He did for his own selfish reasons. I told him not to take a knee personally. It was me talking to him, first of all. Now, let's get that straight. You feel what I'm saying, ABL? I say you retarded as hell. I would tell him, hey, let the 49ers fire me before I just quit. I'm not quitting getting all that money up on the table. You have to fire me and then pay me.
That's right.
All right, ABL.
100%.
Yeah, ABL. And then getting crazy news. OKC talking about how what's she talking about? The what's name is racist? The electoral college is racist. She is smoking some bad herb.
Is that what you said?
Yeah, you heard about that shit. She is all Sponsored does something. It's all racist here. You heard about that?
No, I did. I think I saw something about that, but I didn't really hear exactly what she said. But that's crazy. I mean, the whole thing, racism. That's all that they got on the left to try and have an argument. There's no legitimate points to be made. There's nothing. They just say racist, 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 and hopefully that wins their argument. But it's just them screeching in the wind. That's all.
Exactly. They're like a squeaky wheel. They don't have any oil on it, and they crying for oil. But they refuse the oil. But the really got me most of this year was Rashida Tlaib. Oh, she really pissed me off. She says, and I quote you guys, "I want to see my sick grandma." Then they say you can come in, but you can't be anti-Semitic. I don't want to go anymore. And she calls out racism and cries. They let you go in there to see your grandmother. And that makes it look really bad. Don't you think so?
But you know what? The funny part about that is that those were her terms. She wrote them a letter and said, I want to see my sick grandma. Please give me a humanitarian visa. And I promise not to protest. And I promise to follow all the laws of Israel. They said, okay, cool. You got it. Come on. Then she was like, nah, I don't want to do it because I want to protest. It's like, well, you asked. You said you had the terms yourself. They agreed to your terms. Now you're going to say no? It don't make no sense.
Welcome to America. Let nut jobs from Minnesota come around, and then they're gonna burn for her taxes though. You know that, right? Omar, they're going after her so badly for her taxes. She's going down. I think she is. Don't you think so?
Yeah, because wasn't it like she had filed a joint tax return with her husband, but she wasn't married at the time? Yeah. Like, okay, if anybody in chat don't know, what happened was Ilhan Omar was married to her brother legally, allegedly, because she was trying to get him into the country. And her actual husband, she was not married to legally. They had some kind of religious ceremony. However, they filed a tax return jointly. Okay, so again, her and the guy that she was not married to but had the religious relationship, they filed a joint tax return while she was legally married to somebody else who was most likely her brother. Correct.
And that made me crazy. And then it gets thicker. She paid the money back with some campaign funding.
Yep. So you're talking about federal penitentiary right there.
Exactly. She probably won't get no time. What she's gonna do is she's gonna probably resign, and then she's gonna call it racism. You know what I'm saying? And then okay, she's in trouble because they say she has a popular vote, but as a whole, she doesn't have all support from all the people in New York. She might lose her bureau. You heard about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
When next come election, they say a lot of people still mad about the Amazon deal. She ran away.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, and before I go, I beat Days Gone. Beautiful game. You beat it yet, ABL?
No, I'm not beat it yet, but I'm going to go ahead and get it done.
Man, it's beautiful graphics. Ain't it a beautiful game though, brother?
Yeah, it does. It does look real good.
All right, brother, man. Nice talking to you, man. Everybody, hey, it's about to go down. Have a nice one.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Thank you to my man JB for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Let me get to the next call here. All right, 228. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, who is this? ABL?
This is me, ABL.
Oh, I just wanted to call it and sort of clarify something. The difference between the Republicans and the liberals. The Republican Party respects the individual person. The liberals and the Democrats say the individual doesn't matter. It's the group that matters, and that's baloney. The United States was founded on individual liberties, and guess what? God is not going to judge us as a group. He's going to judge us one by one, and that's how I want my rights defined, one by one. I'm not a part of a group. I am an individual, and so are you, and so is everybody else. And that's the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats. They respect the individual, not the group. And that's right.
Absolutely, 100% correct. Because the thing about it, they want to put us in little groups and then try to say we have to do certain things as a collective rather than respecting each individual for whatever they need, for whatever their family need, for whatever their children need.
Yeah, and they judge what we need as a group. Well, we don't all need the same thing. I need this and you need that. You probably don't need 5 yards of pink ribbon for your little granddaughter's dance review. Not that I know of, but I do. Do you need 5 yards of pink ribbon?
I do not.
All right, there you go. You have to respect my needs and my individuality, and so do you. And you know, you might need some shotgun shells. I don't need shotgun shells. I need the ribbon, which I'm going to get tomorrow, by the way. You know, that's what it is. You know, we are individuals, and God's going to judge us one by one. He's not going to judge the group. He's not going to go up in heaven and say, okay, all Americans to the left, let me see what you did. Oh, y'all all a bunch of assholes. You're going to hell. No, we're going to be judged individual, one by one.
100% correct. Absolutely.
Okay, and good. I love your program, and I'll let you get on to the next program. But remember, we're individuals, and our rights are come to us individually. I don't want to be judged as a part of a group. I'm not part of a group, except I'm a Christian. I'll be judged in that group, but no other group.
Very well said. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye now. Great call. Very well said. 100%. All right, let's get to my next call. Okay, we have a foreign number. Is this Germany, Russia? Where are you calling from, caller?
From Germany.
All righty. So who do we have on the line?
This is Stan.
All right, Stan, what's going
yeah.
on? Hey, before we go any further, I got a little bit of feedback in the background. Turn your speakers down for me, please.
Oh, yeah, sure, buddy. Sorry. Yeah, I turned them off. Yeah, man, first of all, I really appreciate your show. And, oh, man, I'm a little bit nervous. Finally got through. Yeah. So I'm living over here in Germany, and I'm like what you would call like a classical liberal. I'm I've always been for the Democrats and whatever. But lately I realized there's been like a paradigm shift, and I'm living over here in liberal land, and I'm like constantly hearing all about Trump and how bad he is and everything like that, and and it's just like people are just lying, and I can't stand people lying about this stuff, even though it's like my team, and
I'm sorry, but like I kind of missed that. Like, who's lying about what now?
Yeah, people are always lying about Trump and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And over here you're just inundated with it. You're just completely just buried with it, and you can't say anything to anybody. It's like living in a place where you're like constantly like in a witch hunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, I started a couple years ago, defending, conservatism and stuff like that because, people are entitled to their own opinions, but they're not entitled to their own facts, and, it ultimately costed me, all of my friends and, resulted in me getting divorced,
Wow. Really?
And
because hold on, you got divorced because of your political point of view?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm over here. I'm I was always a liberal, and a Democrat and whatever. I lived in the States for a long time. I was born in Canada and I lived in the States for a long time. And over here, I'm a right extremist, a recht extremismus. I'm a right extremist and a Nazi and a racist and all that. And I just got to say, man, it really shouldn't matter, but I really got to appreciate, you being a black man, and standing up for this kind of thing because it really helps. I got to say, it's stupid because it really shouldn't matter. All this identity politics stuff makes me sick. What does being black or gay or trans or anything like that have to do with your, with your political opinion? So anyways, I was totally against Trump. When he was running, I was a Bernie Sanders man. But now I've completely changed direction. I've done a 180, and man, I really appreciate what you're doing.
I thank you for that, man. And I know my identity matters. Like you said, it shouldn't, but it does, because we live in this time. It really shouldn't, but it does. And the main thing I see when people are on television talking about certain things is that the race card constantly gets brought up. If it's a white person talking about a thing, they instantly go to "you're racist," and then at that point, a lot of times the conversation is over. But then when you have me that comes on there, and I say the same exact thing, they can't really do that. And if they try to do it, then people start to wake up. It's like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. He's actually black. So how are you going to call him a white supremacist? And they're actually saying stuff like that, and people are starting to be like, all right, that's enough. So sometimes it takes that. You got to fight fire with fire. And if it's effective, then it works. That's all I'm trying to do, is just help people get away from that kind of mentality, and to allow others to be able to get away from that kind of mentality. A lot of people are afraid. They're scared. They don't want to come out and say anything. So I'm just here doing my part. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it helps out.
Yeah, well, I'm scared too, man. I hope they don't send the Antifa to my house.
Man, yeah, I hear you.
Well, all right, buddy. I've taken up enough of your time. I really appreciate what you're doing. Big fan. Thanks a lot.
Oh, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yep, peace.
Peace. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. But yeah, we're all in it together. Whatever I can do to help, I'm gonna do. Whatever you can do, you can do. Let's all work together and help, get this country to stay on the right track. All right, let's get to my next call. 904, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, my name's Brian. I'm calling from Jacksonville.
All righty, what's going on?
Nothing. I just wanted to say I've really enjoyed your show, and the thing that's funny about it is my mom, who's an older gal in her 70s, is the one that turned me on to you.
Oh, wow,
and
very
so
good.
That's really opened up a lot to me. I was watching one of your things from the other day, and you were talking about, optimism or pessimism. And I wanted to ask you, when you're talking to younger people, what's the best way to encourage them to be individuals, and think for themselves in a conservative way? And that's all I really had to say, but keep up the good work. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right now. All right, so that's a good question. Talking to young people, now, one thing I always say when people ask me questions like that is that sometimes you can't really talk to people and get them to kind of change their mind or think differently. That's not always going to be the case. Like you can't always be direct with people and get them to listen. Say things kind of indirectly. Like I may just put out little stuff here and there. Like, hey man, these taxes are killing me. The cost of living going up, crazy high taxes. I'll talk about high taxes, but I won't say, oh, Trump has lowered them or Bernie will going to raise them. I'll just say high taxes are killing me. I'm trying to open the business or whatever. I'll talk about certain things that affect you in your everyday life, and I won't put a political thing on it if my purpose is to talk to somebody and to get them to go the other direction. I won't speak specifically directly to them. I won't say, hey, vote for Trump because X, Y, and Z. I find out to not really be effective. If somebody asks you that, then I may respond. But if you're just trying to get somebody to see the light, speaking directly to them about why you shouldn't vote for who you're voting for already, that doesn't really work, in my humble opinion. So kind of just give out little things here and there, just sprinkle little seeds in the ground, and then just water it occasionally with another little comment, and maybe that seed will sprout and grow into a bunch of big trees. You understand what I'm saying? Also, if they're interested, if they're coming to you, you just speak about certain ways. Like, just keep it practical. Keep about, like, I was talking to my friend the other day, childhood friend, and seen him in years. He just came home from the penitentiary. He did like 6 years. No, he did 5 this time, and then he did 6 or 7 before. So he's been locked up for a long time. He's about a little older than me, about 2 years older than me. But one of my best childhood friends. But anyway, I was telling him what I was doing. I was like, you know what? You know, I'm out here. I'm doing my YouTube thing. I'm a conservative on YouTube. And he's like, "Are you for Trump, huh?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm for Trump." And beginning to the conversation, he's like, "Are you for the wall keep the Mexicans out?" I was like, "Well, the wall, it's about, you know, legal versus illegal." He had just came home from jail, so I related it to him. I was like, "Look, if you go in that house right there and break in, or I do it, what's going to happen? You can go to jail." Exactly. So if you come across the border illegally, you're breaking into the country. So they should go to jail too. I'm all about being fair. See, I made it relatable to him without trying to preach, just being practical, making common sense. So hopefully that kind of answers it. So I ain't want to do too much rambling right there, but that is kind of the way. Make it practical. But let me get to the next call. All right, call you on the line. 347, who am I speaking to?
Joshua.
All right, Joshua, what's happening?
What's happening to you, Brian Logan?
Everything's good, man. What's going on?
Not much as of recently. Like, I gotta agree with the call that Germany right now is very liberal until Angela Merkel gets out of office in a couple of years from now. So that's good. But staying a liberal hellhole, living in New York City is very tough. It is, because as a conservative like me, was a Republican, it's tough because, like, right now, I don't have all majority of my MAGA hats right now.
Right.
Because my mom took it away 3 times, actually. Last year, this year during the Jesse Smollett hate host confesse, and this one when the guy got beat with a big where looked like a boxer knocked him out. You remember that story?
He was hit by a boxer and knocked out. Where was this?
New York City. Remember the gang that got knocked out?
Oh, I don't know.
That happened in New York City a couple weeks ago.
Well, I know the one guy, he got hit. He was jumped by a bunch of teens. They hit him in the side of his head. They smashed his head against.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, yeah, he got hit by some teens. They put him into the side of some scaffolding. So when his head hit the scaffolding, that's what caused the crazy swelling and stuff. Yeah, that was crazy.
Right. Yeah. Right, and to me, it's not fair because, like, right now when I wear that hat, I saw like a couple months ago, nothing happened to me, but my mom is so against me wearing it because she is so worried because of the mainstream media, like she is so not gonna say Trump's derangement syndrome type of level, but very, very close to it.
Right.
At some point. And it's just really, really tough to be a conservative in New York State outside of Staten Island, of course. Because I live in Brooklyn, New York, so.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine how it is. You know, like I said, when I was in LaGuardia Airport a while back, had my MAGA hat on, I was getting some crazy looks. So I can imagine how it is to be right there in the belly of the beast, in the midst of it all, especially under a guy like Bill de Blasio, who doesn't want to do anything about it, who does not want to protect.
He wants to ban Trump.
Yeah, he want to ban Trump, but he don't want to protect his own citizens.
Right. The guy has an ego. The guy has a big freaking ego.
Yeah.
Like, I prefer Michael Bloomberg over Bill de Blasio every day of the week.
I hear
Seriously. Anyway, another thing I want to talk about is the Amazon rainforest fire.
Yeah, the Amazon fire.
Yeah, I watched a 10-part video about it, and it's happening in majority in farm, like agricultural lands.
Yeah, I mean, it always happens. It's not anything new. People are trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. They're trying to say that, oh, they're burning the whole forest down. No, that amount of forest always burns about the same every year.
Right. And it was worse years ago than this month.
Yeah.
It was worse in 2000 was way worse than in today.
Yeah,
so
so it's
because the media hates Bolsonaro. That's
right.
why they hate Bolsonaro, because he is a right-wing leader of Brazil. He's more of a people president.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all I was gonna say. And a couple more things I want to talk about is.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna cut you off, but I got limited time. I gotta get to some more calls.
30 seconds. Do you still watch Wild Elephants and James Allsett?
I don't watch them.
Because they're very identitarian, right wing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really watch too many political channels because I don't want to have any thoughts pollute my thought process.
Right. Yeah. And also, please tell the chat to subscribe to PewDiePie. He's hitting 100 million today.
All right, we'll do that. Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Definitely appreciate you too.
All right, now take care. All right, shout out to my man Joshua for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. All righty, let's get to my next call here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. All right, call you on the line 857. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
What is that? ABL?
Yes, it is. Who am I speaking to?
It's Ivan, man.
Ivan, what's going on?
Hey, I was listening to your show the other day when you were talking to Hassan. You were talking about Hassan. I guess the guy from the Young Turks. Well, he was wrong about. You were right, and he was wrong when he was talking about that the U.S. is responsible for 9/11. I guess the guy. I didn't know the whole story, but regardless, he was wrong concerning about people. The American people being responsible for the action of the government because, the American people are responsible for what the government does. So, but you were fine until you mentioned slavery. You were okay, and then you went to slavery, and you say, white people today are not responsible of the action of yesterday, of
That's
people
correct.
yesterday.
That's correct.
That's correct. It's true. It is true. They are not responsible. But when they're talking about slavery, and they talk about reparations, Jim Crow laws, they are not talking about the American. They're not talking about the white people, the immigrants. They're not talking about that. They're talking about the government. The government is responsible for doing that. The government is responsible for failing to provide security and to provide equal protection rights to black people since slavery all the way to the segregation, Jim Crow laws, to civil rights.
Let me ask you a question, though. Was slavery illegal?
If slavery was legal, but
okay. So the answer is no.
It was legal, but then you failed to protect the people according to your constitution.
No, but see, no, sir. Because it was not illegal. So when you talking about protection, it was a legal practice. So how can you? So hold on. I got it. Hold on, sir.
The Constitution.
Sir. Let me ask you a question. If it's a legal practice, how can you protect someone from a legal practice? It doesn't make any sense.
But the Constitution say otherwise.
But it was legal, so it don't make a difference.
No. You cannot have a constitution that protects certain people that don't protect others. That's my point.
So are you saying that slavery was legal but unconstitutional?
Should be unconstitutional. That's what it's called. All this time.
What court?
Segregation, Jim Crow law, all that was unconstitutional.
What court ruled on that?
The government reparation for those who have been suffering for that.
Sir. What court ruled on that to say that?
The Supreme Court ruled into that. I mean, where you been?
So what was the ruling? What did it say?
They say that the United States government should pay reparation for those who are suffering from the slavery to Jim Crow laws to segregation.
So hold on. So that's it. You said the Supreme Court said that? Really?
The Supreme Court said that.
When did it say that?
The Supreme Court said that. The Supreme Court say that. It's been a ruling that say segregation was illegal. Jim Crow laws were illegal in this country because you have a constitution.
So hold on, slavery or Jim Crow? Which one? Wait. Slavery or Jim Crow?
Slavery and Jim Crow laws. International laws.
Sir, that ain't the same thing.
Look, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue.
No, I mean, look, sir, you're muted. Okay, you got muted. Now, if you're going to say a thing, you got to be exact. You can't say, "Oh, the Supreme Court said this about slavery," and then say, "Oh, it was about Jim Crow law." Either it's about slavery or it's about Jim Crow. Slavery was over before Jim Crow came into existence. So, which one is it? Now you're unmuted, so you can talk.
You see, now you keep muting me. That's
so say what you got to say. Answer the question. We can move on.
Okay.
Hello? Talk. Go ahead.
What's the question?
Okay, the question was, you were talking about the Supreme Court saying that slavery was wrong, but then you changed it to Jim Crow. But slavery came before Jim Crow. So which one is it? Is it slavery or Jim Crow? Which one?
Yeah, slavery was unconstitutional. Jim Crow was unconstitutional. Segregation constitutional. The whole thing was constitutional.
Okay, so what case? What case was this, sir? Listen to me, sir. Okay, you muted again. What case was this? Because I'm on Google right now. I don't see anything. I see Dred Scott. I see that. Okay, but I don't see anything about what you're talking about. So give me the actual court case you're referring to. Because if it's a Supreme Court, it's got to be a court case. So give me the court case you're referring to.
Now, Dr. Clark Anderson got a case against the Supreme Court.
Oh, no. Claude Anderson.
I'm just telling you. Now,
look. The question. Don't, sir, you muted again. Don't tell me about Claude Anderson. He don't have no Supreme Court case that got ruled on. Tell me about rulings, findings, decisions that you can cite. We could talk about Dred Scott. We could talk about that. But you can't talk about Claude Anderson. That ain't no ruling that's there. You're talking about trying to bring a case to the Supreme Court. You're talking about a thing that's He's talking about somebody endeavoring to try and appeal to the Supreme Court, not a ruling or a decision.
Behind it. There's plenty of scholars behind it.
You were muted the whole time, so I mean, you can talk now, though.
The federal government failed to protect black people from then until all the way to civil rights. They failed to protect that, and they should be compensated. This is not about right wing.
Okay, but give me the decision, sir. Give me the actual decision handed down by the Supreme Court. Give me the court case.
There hasn't been a decision by the Supreme Court.
Okay, so all right. So you just said it right there. You muted it again. You just said there has not been a decision by the Supreme Court. That's all I needed to know. You could say that from the beginning and save this time. There has not been a Supreme Court decision. So let's get this straight. Slavery was not legal. There's been no Supreme Court decision about it, nothing like that. So we're talking about just how we feel at this particular point in time. You can't protect a person from a thing that was legal. We all know now, in hindsight, that slavery was abhorrent. It was a bad thing. It was a terrible thing that happened all over the world. We know that now, but back then it was not like that. That's the reality of the situation.
That's not the reality. You cannot have a constitution that protects certain and no others. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
That's your opinion, because there's been no ruling.
Opinion, that's a fact.
There's been no ruling.
You have a constitution. You have a U.S. constitution that protects certain people and don't protect the other people.
Sir, look, you're talking about how you feel right now. Give me a ruling.
What the Constitution said. Read me about the Constitution.
Give me the ruling that said that what you're saying is the case.
Read about the Constitution.
I got it right here behind me. I got it right here. I know what it says.
Okay.
But tell me the Supreme Court case that backs up what you say.
So they failed to do so. Dr. Clara Anderson, Dr. Gates, they all have lawsuits that have been all the way to Supreme Court. With the reason they haven't been a ruling because the United States government don't care about black people. That's the reality.
Okay, that's your opinion.
Let me. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to another subject.
Okay, we got time, sir. Time's wasting.
Only 3 minutes. I'm gonna hang up. 3 minutes. I know.
You said how long? You said how long? Okay, you got about a minute and a half. You already been on 8 minutes. Come on, man.
I know that this is your YouTube channel. It's not you. It's about you making money. So
look, sir. If you're gonna do that, I'm gonna hang up right now.
Real quick. The Congress passed a law, right, for the funding for the 9/11 victims. You know until what time the money is going to run out, until the money is going to be available?
Well, I'm not sure, but what's your point? Because
2090, 20 and 90.
Okay.
So most of those guys they give their heart, they participate to remove people, to help, to.
I got you, but get to your point very quickly.
The government's supposed to protect them, but let me explain to you. The government's supposed to protect them, right? The government supposed to protect.
Get to your point quickly, sir.
That's what the federal government's paying them, right?
What?
That's what the federal government.
Oh, okay. I mean, you're not getting to your point.
Why the federal government?
Sir, okay, you're muted, and then I'm gonna just finish. I think what you're trying to say is that they got that money because it's the government's job to protect them, but maybe they're getting that money because they're suffering right now and they're trying to help. Okay, people that the first responders that came to a place, you had a lot of toxic stuff going on, so they're trying to assist them going forward. It's like a government program. How many more government programs does the black community need? How many are we on right now? How many more things do, like, come on. Like, you're talking about reparations for slavery, a thing that was not illegal, that was not a harm at that particular point in time. It became a harm later. It was not a harm during that time. It was not some kind of natural disaster or a terrorist attack. You're comparing apples to oranges. But thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. I'm sorry, Ivan, I had to hang up on you, but let me get to the next call. 813, you on the line. Who am I speaking to? 813, you on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, yes. ABL?
Yes. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, great. Kimberly. Thank you so much. Well, after the last caller, I just want to say I'm upset too, but not in the same way. This is totally emotional. I'm very upset about this, but I would love to have your opinion on it. I don't understand why it seems like all the people on the left who are doing crimes like McCabe, most recently, he had to resign and lied under oath, and then, the other people who lied, Comey lied under oath. Hillary, she has, a long laundry list of things, and then I don't understand, when is it that these people will be held accountable? Is it something where, why is it just go away for these people, I guess is what I'm trying to say, that they're never held accountable. Like, even back to the last election in 2016, what they did with, on the DNC side, where, I'm sorry, who's the older gentleman, I can't think of his name, who was running, and they, messed up his election so that Hillary could be named.
Oh, Bernie Sanders.
Yes, thank you. And the lady who was the head of the DNC, she's still in Congress. I saw her the other day. Nobody's ever held accountable. Why can't, ABL, please tell me, why is nobody held accountable? I barely can't stand it anymore.
Well, I mean, that's a very good question, and I can only speculate, but I think the speculation is a pretty obvious one. Too much political power, too many individuals that are deep into the government that would not allow a thing like that to actually take place. I saw the guy who used to be the Overstock.com CEO, Patrick Byrne.
Yes, I've been watching that.
Yeah, stuff like that. He was talking about that, in my opinion, is what the deep state is all about. They'll come to you in a darkened night. They'll tell you to do certain things, and if you say anything about it, they retaliate against you. They destroy you. They ruin you. That is kind of what's going on. The unseen hand. We see the politicians all the time. We see them every day. What we don't see are those that are behind the scenes to make all the clocks tick. So those individuals, is too many of them. And what Trump said about draining the swamp is the truth. What Patrick Byrne was talking about is that deep state swamp, 100%, people that you don't see. So I think that's the reason why they don't really get in trouble, is because they have too much power and too much of the deep state that's protecting them, that won't bring them to justice.
Yeah. And if I could just add one thing to the Roku guy, back from the beginning, and then I'll let you go. It kind of has to do with this. What you said was there's no difference except that the opposition party has weaker candidates. The thing is like I used to be a Democrat myself until first time I voted Republican was for Trump because everybody wanted to change. Same thing with my mom. She traded sides too. We didn't know back then how bad it was. We didn't know that CNN was doing all this or Google was doing all this and skewing the real topics that are out there and putting out this false narrative. Now, as the years have gone by, I think so many people who were on the Democratic side, their eyes are being opened to how bad everything is. And I think that's going to really push it over the top this time because we're so much more educated. And we can see, like you said, the swamp. I didn't really understand when Trump got in, when he said drain the swamp. We just weren't that educated to know how illegal everything was and all this dirty stuff that's going on. But I think a lot of people now are, and that's why I really appreciate you being out here and all the research that you do. I look forward to watching you every day and becoming informed. So thank you so much. We love you, ABL. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay.
All right. Great call. Great call. Yeah, that deep state is something serious. I'm going to do a video about Patrick Byrne. I was traveling, so I couldn't do it. So if you were looking for that, that's why I didn't do it. And shout out to Get a Job. Hey, great content over there. Over on Get a Job. You guys subscribe to him right now. Get a Job right there in the chat. But yeah, that whole situation, that when I saw that, I was just I had my mouth open, and it took a lot to surprise me. It was really crazy. But I'm gonna do a video about that for sure. Let me get to my next call here. 318, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL.
Yes.
You can hear me? Hey, this is Technologic from Northwest Louisiana. How's everything going tonight?
Everything's great, man. How about yourself?
Cool, man. Hey, I saw you had something about the Overstock CEO on the thing. What do you think about that?
Oh man, that was really crazy. I think that right there, that is what he was talking about is a deep state in action. 100%. The unseen hand, people we don't see, we don't know their names, we don't know anything about them, and some who we do know. Your what was that? Your James Comey and Peter Strzok. It was clear what they were doing, but now we have a high up person, a guy that left his job as the CEO of Overstock to come out and say it. So that's big. That's humongous, and it validates a lot of what many of us have been talking about for some months, if not years now. It validates the whole thing about this situation being a witch hunt to get people out. Now you just have some more evidence to go with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, did you see the CNN piece? I didn't see that one yet. I didn't watch it. Did you see that side of it?
I saw when he was on CNN and he was talking to Chris Cuomo. I'm not sure if they did a piece on it separately, but I did see him when he was on CNN. And
yeah, I think they interviewed him. But, I was just, you noticed how he was acting odd. And I have ADHD, and I kind of understand that. But I wonder, because the Dems love to use weird strategies, I wonder if he's a sacrifice. And I know this is a little conspiracy theory kind of, but I wonder if he's a bit of a sacrifice. Because if you remember on the Fox piece, he mentioned something about I was used to set up Hillary Clinton, and then if not, then it's a much bigger thing that's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, on Fox he said Hillary, Trump, you said everybody.
Yeah, I know. I mean that's what made that was a little confusing. I don't know if it's meant to poison the well of the whole information, or what that was. I don't know. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it because. I don't know. It seemed like something, really damning, but also at the same time, it's like a gift. It's almost like too perfect. Like, here's all the answers, And sometimes when stuff like that comes out, my spider sense goes off, and I start, questioning, like, is this even legit,
No, I hear you. I really do. So, I mean, yeah, he was acting kind of odd, but some of these guys that are high up like that, that's how they act. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. Absolutely.
If you know any kind of business owners or any successful people, it's kind of, Yeah, but I just looked at it, and I just think that the guy needs to lay low. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I think in the next coming months, he needs to like kind of become invisible, because he's supposed to put the rest of the specifics out there on the web, on a website called Deep something, I think.
God bless him, because he's going to need some real protection, because he's getting into some really murky waters if what he's saying is correct.
Yeah. I mean, that's the people that, you know, he said the 3 people. And we know one of them must be stroke, because he came out and he said he figured that out. So there's 2 others. But, you know, I guess, I don't know. Like I said, that was just his role in it. That was his viewpoint. I think everybody needs to remember that. That was just his point of view and his access that they gave him, because he was being used, basically. Which I think they do that a lot with a lot of rich people. You know, I think that they put them in those positions. And I think that's where, when you talk about deep state and actions taking place, and like with Google and all their power and Twitter and all that, I think they're manipulated quite a bit more than people would want, you know, want us to believe. So.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, man, I just want to give you a shout out, man. I've been watching you for a while now, ever since I found you on the web with Brandon and them. So.
I thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate your call.
Yeah. I'll try to call back sometime. Y'all have a good evening.
All right, now same to you.
All right, peace.
All right, shout out to the call. I most certainly appreciate him. And yeah, a lot of these guys, these business owners and CEOs, and you know, people that are very successful, a lot of them act like that. I've seen people like that before. It was one guy that used to work at my job when I was a kid. I was like, you know, late teen, early 20s, working at Old Country Buffet in Chesapeake, Virginia. That's been gone for years though. But anyway, when I was working there, I would come out from the back, I was washing dishes, and there was always this guy that was there that was kind of like, looked he might have been homeless. Looked real disheveled. And he would do stuff like scrape the inside of a piece of like he had a dish with like a dessert, like a carrot cake in it, and he would scrape everything out of the bowl and eat it. Like, he was very odd acting. But when you talk to him, it was like Albert Einstein. And this guy wound up being some kind of real estate mogul. One time he didn't want to go home. He was always there. One time he didn't want to go home and drive his car. He came and got a limo. A limo came and got him, picked him up in front of the restaurant. A stretch black limo picked him up. And it was like, wow, you would never, if you were to see him, you would think he was just a bum on the street. But this guy was a multimillionaire, if I'm not mistaken. But let me get to some more calls. All right. 206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hi. This is Dougie.
All righty. What's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Let me turn you off real quick. ABL, am I live?
You're live.
Hey, man. It's good to talk to you. Like I said, this is Dougie. And, hey, do me a favor. Can you put your fist up to the computer screen, up to the camera, so that I can just fist bump you real quick?
All right. Go ahead.
All right, man. Hey, you know, I just wanted to call and say I really appreciate what you do. You know, everything's kind of in limbo right now. I was curious if you were a little bit bummed with some of the, you know, choices that Trump has made. Basically, the economy. You know, I think the numbers are fake. You know, everybody I watch, same thing. You know, they keep you know, fixing the numbers after with the employment numbers and stuff like that. Letting the mainstream media, you know, basically control the show. And, you know, they're fake news, but I don't see them going on ABL, you know. And so some of the stuff like that, man, I was wondering if you, you know, if, you know, you would have done it if you think you should be doing some of the things differently, you know, like letting some of the stuff get out.
Well, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what Trump did in that situation. Like, you're talking about the economy numbers?
Yeah, you know, we got almost 100,000 people, you know, out of the workforce participation. You know, it's like that one caller was saying that the government doesn't care about black people, but, you know, the government doesn't care about poor people. They want some donations, you know. And, you know, I just think Trump should have been warning people, hey, we're doing 3 times better than the previous administration, but, you know, a few billionaires who don't like me decide to pull some shenanigans, and, you know, things could get a little dicey. So, I don't know. I think he overextended on bragging about that. You know, like I said before, too, I think letting the mainstream media, you know, control the show. You know, I think you should be in the press room, man.
Well, I'm not really sure what Trump can do because the thing about it is the mainstream media, they have the platforms that are already established. One thing that can be done is for Trump to empower a lot of the a lot of the smaller guys. And he does it on his own platform on Twitter, retweeting a lot of us, and he had a social media summit. So he does what he can to try and empower us, but there's only so much he can do. It's only one person. Even the whole administration can only do so much. When you're talking about the mainstream media, you're talking about part of the swamp itself. A lot of them are in bed with the people in the government. They, related to somebody in government, married to somebody in government. So that's kind of a beast that's difficult to tame. I think that we're doing a decent job of trying to chip away at it because a lot of people are starting to cut the cord completely due to the mainstream media, and they're coming to people like myself for their information. So he's trying to empower us. I think he's doing a decent job at that, but I'm not really sure what else he could actually do.
I like this idea about buying Greenland. By the way, you should see, what is it, Project Iceworm? In the 50s, we put a nuclear reactor in a whole city under the ice up there. BBC said it was run by the Space Force by Space Force, the United States Space Force. So you should check those documentaries out. And I think that has to do with the Huawei CEOs getting locked up. Basically, remember when we had Turkey shoot down that Russian jet, and now they're not friends with us?
Yeah.
The reason why Jpmorgan Chase pulled out of the credit market, let everybody, who had a Chase credit card in Canada had their debt forgiven. So I think that has to do with that. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to have to pick a side, and Commonwealth jumped on the Asian Infrastructure Bank, so you can kind of see the direction that's going. It doesn't happen overnight. But some of the people were talking about Tim Pool. He reminds me of that rapper from In Too Deep, Back to the Hotel. Sorry, I was watching that. You want to talk about Tim Pool. Tim Pool, man, I don't know. I picture him rapping sitting in front of on top of a hot rod when I see him. It cracks me up. Big guy. But, hey, man, I just want to say thank you. I don't want to take up too much of your time, But, hey, man, liberal media is funny, man. They'd be like, Trump's Hitler. Now take away our guns.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Can you contradict yourself anything less?
Exactly.
We'll see what happens with RBG in the next month or two. She's supposed to actually show up somewhere for the first time.
We'll see about that. I mean, it ain't looking too good.
Right?
I mean, so we'll see.
Oh, it wasn't looking good a year ago, man. It wasn't looking good a year ago.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah. Hey, you have a wonderful evening, sir, and peace be with you and to all the people in the live chat and all your subscribers.
All right. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, by the way, the reason why I got off YouTube, man, they were making me a fool, man. I'd be trying to answer people, and then the people couldn't see me. They'd be like, hey, man, why haven't you answered? And it's like, man, so I just, I got off it for a while. So,
gotcha.
But I'm still watching you, man. All right?
All right, man. Thank you for the call.
All right. Have a nice night.
Same to you.
Bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. I have super chats to read right quick before we get to the next call. Thank you to, let's start with Nathan Shield, who says, what's he talking about? I made 70% more because of Trump. Well, hey, there you go. A lot of us are doing that, but I guess everybody's not in the same boat, but I think a lot of us are. And thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Carl's Opinion, who says, good evening, Mr. Logan, mods in chat. Did you cover Joe Biden forgetting where he was again? Mixed up Vermont for New Hampshire. LOL, Carl. I saw that. I didn't know exactly what was going on, but now I got the context. He didn't know where he was at. He does it a lot. He's old. He's not as sharp as he used to be. They try to say, oh, it's a gaffe. No, it's not a gaffe. A gaffe is when you say something crazy like, yeah, I was butt naked on top of the Empire State Building and I was having a dance party with cocaine or something crazy. Something ridiculous like that you can't say, an absurd thing. That's a gaffe. But it's not a gaffe when you are losing your memory. It's not a gaffe when you are just not even really understanding what's happening around you. That's called, some mental issues because of old age, in my humble opinion. But shout out to Mike A, who says Obama believes in global warming and sea level rise so much he spent $15 million with an M on a beachfront mansion in Martha's Vineyard. Exactly, 100%. It's just like PETA. They're talking about, the animals, you're killing the animals. Meanwhile, Their headquarters is in Norfolk, right on the banks of the Elizabeth River. I'm talking about right on the water. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've been past it. I've drove past it. It's right out there past MacArthur Mall. You keep going up that street. It's a bridge, right? It's like a little a light rail right there. You can go straight across. Peter's right there on the water, right there. But thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Helmet B, who says, I'm going to wake this group up to faking space and what it leads to if it kills me. Okay. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Dixie George, who says, Gene, this donation is on your behalf, love. Well, thank you for that. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Alice Cersei, who says, keep up the great work. Will do. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to David O, who says, keep doing what you do. ABL, will do. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Rebel, who says, sup, play, keep America great, y'all. Thank you. I appreciate you. Now, Kalishi 077 says, ABL, any good book, movie you've seen, read recently? Not anything that I've seen or read recently. I'm looking forward to seeing some new stuff, reading some new stuff. I want to read more about, like finance and, money markets, that kind of stuff. I'm trying to get more into that. Also, more into a lot of concepts we see every day that we think are new but are old. Politics wise, social, relationship, all that kind of stuff. Just, understanding more about the human condition. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Did I get everybody? I think I did. Let's go ahead and get to the next call. All righty, let's go. 281, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello?
Yes.
Also more into... Oh, I got through. How you doing today, sir?
Everything is great, man. Hey, turn your speakers on in the background for me, please.
Oh, I turned it off. I'll turn it off.
All right, cool. Good money.
Can you hear me now?
I hear you well.
All right. Okay, yeah. My name is Murray, and I was just calling in to see if I could get into the live show. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about the veterans loans, and also to talk about the gentleman and about the reparations things. Try to put a little bit more light onto it. Maybe we might be able to educate him a little bit how these things came about and how the Democrats manipulated everything to put us in the predicament that what we are in now.
Okay.
Okay, and basically what I'm going back to, like back in 1875, we had more rights back then than we had in 1965 when they passed the Civil Rights Amendment. Okay, basically with the Democrats, they put every little stumbling block in front of us to keep us from getting our civil rights, and also too, that's when the South became back into power, and they enacted the Jim Crow laws, and they enacted the laws that blacks wasn't equal. They wanted to be property, and that's kind of about the drift of what I was kind of looking at. But one of the things also too, what I wanted to talk about the veteran student loans is because basically my family have been in this country for 400 years, excuse me. And they fought in every major engagement in this country from 1776 to 1812 to the Civil War, to the Spanish-American War, the Indian Wars, Buffalo Soldiers, World War I, World War II. And I got a little bit better insight on things like that than the general public have. It's because I've been around a lot of the people who went through the Jim Crows and things that what happened during the Jim Crow times. And also, too, is that my grandfather was killed during the Jim Crow because of land. And even now, I'm still trying to find his grave. Okay, and he got killed back, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was either 1914 and 1950. Okay, and one of the things also, too, is that for us, the Democratic Party, that's the party that put us in the situation that we are in now. Okay, I could go on and on, but I want to try to, kind of cut it short. If I just need to talk about the veteran student loans, I think that was a great idea for the veterans to get their loans forgiven. And also try to go back and I could talk about is when, my ancestors, when they went back and tried to get their pensions and they was denied their pensions, and it might have took them, God, I remember my uncle, he was in the service. He fought in the Spanish-American War. He fought in World War One. And I was a kid. I was born in 1956. And I remember he finally got his pension, and that's just kind of some of the stumbling blocks that, the black veterans had. And but they didn't give up. They hung in there, and that's one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is what blacks did and how they did not waver from the country with all these pitfalls and stumbling blocks placed in front of them. But they was resilient. It was very resilient. I don't know if that's the topic you got, but, if it's suitable to go on air or not, but that's what I was kind of mostly interested in. Or also, too, the form of Overstock CEO, and when he went against the deep state, and one of the things that he got to be very careful, because when you start messing with the Illuminati and you start looking at the people that really rule the United States and who pull the puppet strings, you got to be very, very careful.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Okay, that's my bit for now.
Well, I thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, yeah, I definitely appreciate you, too. Oh, who is this?
This is ABL.
Oh, ABL. Oh, I am on live. Hey, man,
you were on. Yeah, you were on. But yeah, I got a lot of calls on online, so I thank you for the call, man. You got to call back sometime. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, I appreciate you, too, man. You have a great time. This is my second time talking to you. And, hey, man, keep up the good work, and we're going to fight, and every time I see somebody, I always send them to your way, man. You have a great day. Bye.
All right, same to you.
Okay.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. I think people think I have a caller screener. I have no screener. This is just me. I have all my setup right here, dual monitor, OBS, and a whole big. I have a 72-inch desk right here that I got everything going. So I'm a one-man band on this particular, right now at this particular moment, but I have help in other areas. But let me get to my next call. All right, calling on the line, 347, who am I speaking to?
Hello, hi, my name is Jonathan from New York. How's it going, man?
Everything's good, man. How about yourself?
Good, you good? Well, first off, I just want to tell you I believe in a lot of the things that you believe in, man. I like the way you think, and I like what you're doing on YouTube, getting your message across. We need more voices out there, giving the red pill to more people, opening their eyes, especially when it comes to the black community, Hispanic community. I feel like a lot of us kind of go off and just believe what everybody else believes, Not until somebody starts to do their own research is when they actually get the whole story, I always tell people, it's hard to red pill a lot of people. I'm from New York, so around here it's liberal town, right? Everybody has these preconceived notions of what's going on, and they're always smarter than you. So it's like, it's a weird approach, but with time, you learn how to do it. You agree with them at first. My technique, I always tell them, hey, do you trust the government? That's where it all starts. You ask them, okay, do you really trust the government? They're all going to say no. And then you say, okay, well, do you trust them to have full control of your health care? And then they'll start to open up.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's a good strategy. I would like to use the government. They all hate the government because Trump is involved, so you can use that against them. All right. But we all agree on everything. I agree on almost everything that you're on the side of. The one thing I can't agree with, the one thing that I would say doesn't really coincide with everything is when it comes to police. All right. So I love statistics. I mean, everybody, I would say, on the conservative or the right side, we all we like to read statistics. We like to see, the meat of the actual details, right? I can't deny statistics. Statistics are always going to tell you how things are going. But there's one discrepancy when it comes to police abuse and their biases against the Hispanic and Black community. Now, I know you don't agree because you fall on the side of the statistics. I remember I saw an interview of you. I remember you were debating another Black gentleman. He has his own channel and he's like very left-leaning. I remember I saw an entire debate, which was weird because a lot of people said that he was winning, and then I saw your side. I'm like, well, I think he's winning. So, but what I'm going down to is this. If you, let's say, stop and frisk. I'm from the era of stop and frisk, right? I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put in the logic because it has some logic to it. These cops have quotas. They have to meet quotas. They have to have certain numbers of arrests. So where are they going to check to see the arrests if the statistics are true that the Hispanic and the Black community are the ones committing the most crimes? Let's be real. They're going to focus and magnify on that population. Do you agree with me?
Well, whoever is committing the most crime, they're going to focus on where the most crime is coming from.
Yes. Yeah, okay, we agree there. We're good with it. All right, so these cops, they're going to magnify. They're going to go into the hood, let's say. And the people who look Black and Hispanic, when I say look Black and Hispanic, in 2000, let's say 2008, it was the do-rags, it was the braids, the baggy shirts, right? So I'll tell you, I'm Dominican. And Dominicans out here, let's say we're known for three things. We own bodegas, taxi drivers, and a lot of us are involved in drugs and trafficking. And, that's just, Ann Coulter says the same thing. She talks about Rikers Island population when it comes to Dominicans. So that's just, reality. So as a cop, he sees a group of Dominicans. Let's say me, I'm just walking to school, minding my own business, not involved in drugs. He's going to come to me. He's going to tell me, look, face the wall, shut up, put your hands on the wall. A grown man is going to go into your pockets, start going through your wallet. And that's very demoralizing. That feels terrible. And I had so many experiences. All my friends had too. And these are people who go to school, graduate, and we're trying to go to college. We're not involved in anything. We just look like the people that are. Do you agree with that or no?
Agree with what?
You agree that we are targeted. We have a target on our side. We have braids, we have do-rags, we're walking around, going to school, and we're going to get harassed, especially with these laws like stop and frisk.
If you're in an area with high crime, and go back to the whole high crime thing, that's pretty much what it is.
Okay. So then if I would tell you that police are biased and they target Blacks and Hispanics, do you believe that?
My thing is they're targeting areas that have the high crime. It really ain't, people may be feeling like they're targeted because they're Black and Hispanic, but the reality is it's because of the area that they're in has a high crime rate. Do they do the stop and frisking way out like far Long Island and places like that where you got a Black person at? Do they just randomly, in a place where there's no crime and it's all peaceful, do they just, go get a random Dominican person and stop and frisk them in that area? Or is it happening in the city where you got a lot of crime at?
Oh, I'll tell you. It's actually wherever you see a Black Dominican, they're going to target them. They're going to say, okay, this guy probably has drugs. They see a white guy in my neighborhood. He's not experiencing the same experiences that we are.
Okay,
and I know.
I don't mean to cut you off, but is most of the stop and frisk? Is most of the stop and frisk happening in the high crime areas or not in the high crime areas?
They're happening in it's happening all over, but
man, I'm talking about the concentration.
Yes, it's more in high crime areas. That's like what we said in the beginning. They're magnifying that demographic that commits the more crimes, right?
I think what it boils down to is you can have stop and frisk or you can have higher crime, and you could pick. If you think that stop and frisk is demoralizing and it's not right and it's a violation of your rights, you can feel that way and that's okay. But the trade-off is higher crime. Now, is it worth it? That's a question you got to ask yourself. I don't live in New York. I couldn't live in a city that's that big. I'm a small town guy. I'm born in West Virginia, so I don't really like big places like that. But if you're gonna live there, you got to live with higher crime or stop and frisk or some other measures you may not like. So it's your choice.
So yeah, but as a 16-year-old boy who's going to school and trying to get his trying to get his stuff straight, it's like it's you don't really have that agency, that power to just say, well, I want to live in Long Island right now. So I see what you're saying, but at the same time, we are targeted. It's just we have a target sign on us. I remember that.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand the targeting, but the thing is, you got to look at it, even if you are that age, you got to look at it like this. If this is not happening, we're going to have higher crime, and I could be a victim of actual crime. See, the thing about the police, they're coming up to you, they're stopping and frisking you. You may feel like you're demoralized, maybe embarrassing, but you can have that, or you can have a higher chance of you becoming a victim of gun violence, gang violence, or whatever the case may be. So look at it from that way. If you still think that it's not worth it to go through that, then you got to accept what comes as a result of not having that if you're able to get your wish. If you're able to lobby some kind of way, even as a young kid, to go out there and protest, and they say, okay, no more stop and frisk. Now you got a higher crime rate, and you got to be able to live with that.
Okay, well, looking at your perspective, what I'm seeing is that, I see that you're saying it's like a more or less like a trade-off.
Yes.
Is an actual, do you want to be at risk, for example, to be assaulted or to have a gun, assaulted with anything really? And you see, it's hard for the major population to understand that because it's like an imaginary thing. Because people just look at the situation at the table. You understand what I'm saying? So I do see your point because you're bringing up the point of, if this did not happen, you would receive more pain, but this is a pain I'm not feeling. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off. It's unfortunate. People may not like it, but you're going to have to pick. It's a hard decision to make.
I hated it, and also I'm going to tell you that the statistics are wrong because I understand it when it comes to statistics. Yeah, a lot of statistics are valid. Even if they have some bias, they tend to give the same conclusions. So some statistics that are extremely biased does not mean that the conclusion is wrong. But when it comes to police, let's say, violence or police abuse in any sense, a lot of statistics are very wrong because the same people who pick up these statistics are the police departments. A lot of the statistics that you're going to read are going to say, well, this is a statistic coming from, let's say, Queens Correctional Police Department, that there were this many complaints on this month or this year. And really the people that get this done to them, people who get, let's say, their testicles grabbed and they're searching for drugs, they're not going to go onto the police station and say, hey, guys, your guys are the same people doing this, but guess what? At the same time, I have a problem. Like, you don't go to the same people who abuse you to tell them about your problem. So the statistics, a lot of unreported things going on.
Yeah, I got you, man. I don't mean to cut you off. Hopefully you call back sometime, but I got to get to a few more calls on the line.
All right. Yeah. Don't worry about it, man. It was a very interesting conversation. Thank you for everything, man. All right, take care, man.
All right.
All right, bye.
Yeah, shout out to the caller. I like that. That was a good call. He had a disagreement. We can have a conversation about it and be civil. I like that. So shout out to the caller. Hopefully he calls back. Yeah, my thing about stopping and frisk is that, look, if it helps your community, like some people say, you're violating rights, civil rights, and all of this. I understand that point of view. But if stop and frisk makes your community safer, I mean, do you want it? Or do you not want it? If you don't want it, understand you're going to have a more dangerous area that you're going to live in. Is it worth it? All right, caller, you're on the line. 817, who am I speaking to? 817, you're on the line. Yes.
This is Anthony Brian's Logan show, right?
Yeah, speaking right now. I'm on the line with you right now.
That's pretty odd. I'm watching the live stream. Must be off by a few seconds.
Yeah, don't watch the live stream at all.
Sorry, what was that?
Yeah, don't watch the live stream at all because there is a delay. Just talk to me on the phone.
All right. I'll ignore it then. So, one thing I wanted to add about the whole thing about statistics is sometimes the way it's said, it's technically correct, but they trick you, the person, what it really means. Does that make any sense?
You say it one more time for me, please.
What I noticed with a lot about with statistics is that it will technically mean what they say, but the way they present it, it makes you think something else.
Yes.
Like crime is up by 1,000% in the city, like 100% in the city, when there's only been like one person killed in that little town or city in like years. So technically it's 100%, but not really.
It makes you think a thing that's not necessarily the case. They're making you think it's some kind of like, onslaught of crime coming into your city, but really it's just like one more murder.
Yeah, I get it. Honestly, I'm kind of taken back a little bit. I didn't think I would be the next guy in line. I thought there were at least like 5 other people waiting.
Nah. You're right here.
And this is kind of a difficult thing to ask, but I believe in the United States. I believe in its founding principles. I think George Washington is an amazing man. I think the Declaration of Independence is one of the best documents ever made. But, and I agree with you on almost 99% of the points, but I have a bit of a difficult question to ask you and many Americans.
Okay.
If a territory of the United States, such as Hawaii, California, Texas most famously, if they seek to rule themselves as independent nations, and as long as they're not like want to be authoritarian or anything, would you be for or against them wanting to rule themselves?
Okay, that's a good question. So when you say rule themselves, do you mean like totally sovereign or like semi-autonomous, like Hong Kong or something?
Fully independent nations.
Well, it all depends. Like California, they can go. I will support that. I'd want to keep Texas, their valuable asset. But if the people if they wanted to leave, then that's their decision. I wouldn't necessarily be trying to fight them to stay, but I would like for them to stay. California, I would encourage them to go ahead and leave. Any state that is, doing well and they have good people, I would like for them to stay. But if they wanted to leave, that's their prerogative to do so. And I would support them and their right to address that issue.
In that case, you sound like a very conscious and very free-thinking individual. You don't believe into catchwords like the one American people or anything. You actually sound like a very educated person.
Well, I think we're all Americans because, right now we all Americans. But if one day we weren't, then that'd just be what it is.
Well, I will say this, sir. You're actually talking with a Texan nationalist right now. That's me.
Okay, you're a Texas nationalist?
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, do you think that you'd be able to? Is there like a lot of steam in Texas to, secede and become sovereign?
Can I just say this right now? We're growing, but we are definitely not the majority. And I say that again. I do not want you to think I'm pretending we're in the majority. I do not want to act like we're in the majority yet. But however, if we were to compare this to the 1990s when I was looking stuff about Texan nationalism and the idea for Texans wanting to recreate their old nation again, the support back then was 3%. Now in 2010 and right now in 2019, those numbers are 33% to 40%. And more Texans, like especially my age, people in their 20s and teenagers, they're more for independence, and at the very least, they view themselves as Texans more than Americans as the years march on.
Okay.
So eventually, we're going to have a day when there's so many Texans viewing themselves as Texans over Americans, and so many Texans wanting independence that, for good or for bad, the United States and Texas will have to decide the future. The road cannot stay like this forever. Something will eventually happen.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's possible. I think it's been kind of predicted that at one point in time, the United States may fracture. I would like for the United States to stay as one nation, but it may fracture. Different regions, different states may become their own independent nations. I don't know. It's possible.
I do not want the United States to fracture. I would hope that it would be reformed, but even if it did reform, I still would want Texas as its own country, just out of pure cultural and cultural reasons mostly.
Gotcha.
And geez, I'm seeing a lot of interesting comments. One guy even called me silly man.
Yeah, the comments you're gonna see the comments are always going to be interesting over here, so you're gonna see that.
No, I know. Some people have mixed views on it, and I understand completely.
Gotcha.
By the way, want to hear something funny?
All right, go ahead, real quick, because I gotta get to my next call.
All right, I'm sorry, but anyways, apparently, if Texas became an independent government nation of its own, I can't English tonight. Apparently, Texas would have an economy and GDP larger than Russia itself.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Absolutely.
I wouldn't say Texas would be a world global power, but oh my God, we would definitely not be weak.
Oh, not at all, man. Not at all. But I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll definitely still stay subscribed to you. You're freaking cool.
All right, thank you, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Have a nice day.
Same to you. All right. Shout out to the caller. Yeah, independent Texas. Okay. Yeah, you know what I want? I want Texas to stay because they're great. Shout out to Texas. Shout out to all the Texans out there. You guys are fantastic. But California can go right now, ASAP. Go ahead and, just bounce. 314, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony, this is Aurelio. How are you?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I was just sitting here listening to your show tonight. I wanted to ask you your opinion on the ruling for the national popular vote out of Colorado, where I think there was an elector who wanted to vote for John Kasich, and the ruling said that this elector could vote for whoever he wanted to. It kind of puts a dent in the national popular vote movement.
Yeah, that's I didn't quite hear about that one. I mean, that shouldn't be like that because it's like, okay, what are we really voting for? If the electors can do whatever they want, then the popular vote is irrelevant. Because but go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think what the ruling says is that I guess whoever wins the popular vote, those particular electors of that particular state, whether it be California, Colorado, or wherever, they have to vote for the popular vote candidate.
Oh, okay,
I think what this ruling is saying is that they don't have to vote for the popular candidate. They can vote for whoever they choose to vote for. The state can't make them vote for the popular candidate. Just because the popular candidate won that state doesn't mean that the popular candidate electors are going to be voting. It will be whoever's party won that state is going to be who's voting.
I see what you're saying. So I think that was a ruling before. Like I think that might have been the standard that you can vote for who you want, but generally the electors will vote for whoever their state voted for. And the rule that they were trying to put in was to say that you have to vote for whoever wins a popular vote. So they basically reversed the ruling that they had before.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I just saw that, and it just kind of put a big relief over my shoulders. Is this whole national private popular vote thing? I think is ridiculous.
Yeah,
and for one particular state to say to the electors, hey, you don't have a choice. You have to vote for this particular candidate is nothing but BS.
Right. Yeah, it is. It's just a way for them to try to cheat the election. It's a certain thing.
That's exactly what it is. It's essentially a way of cheating.
Yeah, I mean, you have certain things that have been done for a very long time. It's in writing. We know what it is, and they're trying to circumvent that just to get the person who they want in office and the one who they don't want out of office. So yeah, I'm glad they changed that.
Yeah. I was really glad to hear it. I think I read it on Breitbart or something. It was a ruling to where it wasn't a Supreme Court ruling, but it was a federal court ruling. I think in Colorado, where I think I don't remember whatever it was. The guy had voted for John Kasich, and I think that they were upset that he didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. Was what it was.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and I guess they were saying that that the law now states that the state can't tell the electors who to vote for. So put a big blow into that particular movement.
Hey, sounds great to me. 100%.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Well, that's all I wanted to say, man. I'll let you go to you have other callers. It was good talking to you, and I love your channel.
Well, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, sure. All right, thanks, man. Bye.
Bye. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. 619, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
911.
Hello?
Hey, ABL, how you doing, man?
Everything is great. How about yourself?
Pretty good so far, except for when you said that about California, man. You really got me, man.
Hey, you know what? I gotta clean it up now. I gotta go back and defend myself.
You gotta clean that up just a little bit, man. You can shit on I'm sorry not to say shit, but you can get on Camilla Harris and all the rest of them, but don't take us all out in California, man.
No. I know you got a lot of good Californians. Anybody that wants an entry visa into the United States and you a good person, come on. We want you to come on in.
Man.
But California, the leaders, the Gavin Newsoms and Kamala Harris and all these people, they can take
I hear you.
Their government and go. Matter of fact, they could do like what China did back with Taiwan. They can just go off to an island somewhere and have that be their utopia and leave California for the actual people that really want to have the state be a real place and not some kind of, psycho experiment where they put people on drugs and mental illness out on the streets to harass everyday working people.
I feel you on that. I understand where you're coming from on that one, because I mean, I've called before, I'm originally from Oakland, but I got to get the hell out of there. But California, there's a lot of people here because, I left Oakland and I migrated up here to further Northern California of Redding, California. And, it's not like that everywhere. There's not tons of liberals here who just partying around and not knowing what's going on. It's a lot of us that do know what's going on, and we do want change up here in California. And Gavin Newsom, I wasn't a big fan of him being the mayor of San Francisco. So, it kind of hurts when people say you can get rid of California, yada, yada, yada. But, even though that California is so mixed up with all the most terrible politics and the worst taxes ever, we do create a lot of different laws, especially with the marijuana laws for all those who are 420 friendly in the country, that every other country and state want to follow. And it kind of hurts when people just want to destroy California like that, because we're all not like that.
But my thing is not that we don't want to destroy California. California is destroying itself. And it's not even the regular everyday people's fault for the most part.
No.
Some of them it is, some of them it isn't. What's happening is that you got a lot of people that come from other places that dominate your political powerhouses in San Francisco Bay Area and also Los Angeles. They pretty much dominate the entire state. So all the liberal stuff, all the craziness that's happening is due to those particular places, and regular everyday people that don't subscribe to that have to suffer as a result.
Right. I mean, the homelessness is all over California. It's everywhere. I don't understand why, but it is part of California, and it's a problem that's going to have to be fixed by people who have real ideas. Based off of the money and taxes that we pay in California, it is crazy to even see that as a person that is homeless. San Francisco itself is just, you got more billionaires and millionaires there. It's hard to believe that there's even homeless people there when you have so much money there. More money in San Francisco than anywhere in any state. Okay, so it's kind of, it sucks, but once we get like maybe a better politician who's maybe to become governor or anything, hopefully on the Republican side, because Arnold Schwarzenegger really didn't do that bad when he was governor of California at all, but it's so many Democrats who are so brainwashed And I can say here in California, they do brainwash you. Once you go to any of these colleges here in California, you are automatically brainwashed as a liberal, and people just follow. I don't think we really have our own true identity as people here, but there are some people who are just look back and watch everything that's going on, and maybe somebody will actually step up and be like, hey, let's get California under control.
Yeah, hopefully so, man, because it's a beautiful place to be, but the leadership is making it not be a beautiful place to be. So hopefully they can get turned around and get back on the right track, man. But thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you.
No, yeah, no problem, man. I love watching your show. Me and my family, we all enjoy your show, enjoy you, and just keep things going along. But please don't dog California too bad, man.
I got you, man.
I live here too, man. I mean, I think about places where I can go, but it ain't too many places I want to be besides California right now.
I hear you, man.
Yeah, I just bought a house, man. So it's like, man,
oh wow, yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Don't mess with my property value. You understand? Other people can have their drama and stuff, but you know, when you get a certain age to actually understand the world a little bit and understand how things work, you can really, you know, make it hard for somebody else. You know?
Right.
Right, but yeah. But I just wanted to just shoot you, definitely had to shoot you a call, because when I heard that and I see the messages popping up about give Mexico California in the chat, like, right. Whoa, wait a minute.
No doubt, man. I'm with you on that, man. But thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
No problem, man. Thank you.
All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, like I said before, it's a lot of good people in California. California's a beautiful place, but the leadership in California is not doing a good job. Man, the homeless problem is caused by the drug problem. That's the issue. They've effectively decriminalized drug use. Ain't nobody getting locked up for shooting heroin. Like, I watched the video of San Francisco mayor walking in San Francisco, middle of the daytime with a camera crew. It's a guy getting ready to bang his needle right in front of her, looking dead in her face. She made eye contact almost with the guy, looked dead at him. Okay, so if you could shoot heroin in front of the mayor in the middle of the day on the street outside, then, I mean, why wouldn't you come to San Francisco? Why wouldn't you be homeless there? You may be from a different place other than right there, but come there for that particular purpose. You can shoot drugs. Drugs are pretty much legal. You can get all kind of money from the city, from NGOs. I mean, why do anything else other than just be a dope fiend and get paid to be a dope fiend? That's the problem. And then regular people got to suffer. People that don't shoot heroin now have to walk past a guy doodling on the ground, banging his needle. I mean, what can you do with that? And people say, oh, decriminalize drugs. So you can be like San Francisco and have guys shooting heroin in front of the courthouse on a Sunday afternoon, and then they can just do right there on the ground too. And then you have rats and stuff, especially like in LA. You have rats that carry the plague. You have humans that are putting their waste on the ground. All of that mixing together. I mean, you're going to have a World War Z 28 days later. And I'm being dead serious. That's how it happened in Europe, because it was the filth. You know, people would throw their feces out of the window. It wasn't no sewer system. And then you had the rats coming from the Silk Road. They're carrying the plague. And before you know it, 1/3 of Europe was dead in a very short period of time. Then you had the Dark Ages. I mean, these things can happen, man. It's not far-fetched. So you got to get a control over it before it gets out of control. But let me get to my next call. 978, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Steve Baldessari with AmericanPatriotsApparel.com. How you doing?
Everything is great, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. Just listening to the previous callers, had some comments. One particular thing I wanted to discuss was the popular vote and how they're pushing for that to be, you know, what gets people elected no matter what the Electoral College says. So, I mean, that was my understanding, right, is that no matter what the Electoral College thinks that the popular vote would overrule the Electoral College. That's how I understood it. I think
that was the rule. I think that was a rule that I got put on the books. It might have been in Colorado that says no matter what the state does, we're going to go with the popular vote of the entire nation. But then I think it got overruled by saying that the electors could vote for whoever they wanted to vote for, which was the general rule before. And people generally voted for whoever their state voted for. That's how it's always been.
Okay, because I thought there was a bunch of different states that had signed on to basically overrule whatever the Electoral College does. So it wasn't that they didn't have the ability to make the vote that they wanted. It was that no matter what they voted, it didn't matter because the popular vote would override it. That was my understanding, but maybe I'm wrong on that one. Am I wrong there?
I'm not quite sure what the exact process behind it, but I know about Colorado. They had a rule that was there and then they got overturned, but I'm not sure about other states.
Yeah, because that's my concern, right? Because if it is that way, then it's not really so much that's all like a smoke and mirror thing, right? Because if it doesn't matter what the Electoral College does and the popular vote overrules it and all these states are signing on, then to your point earlier, they can fix elections, right? And that is the end game, obviously.
That's the end game, correct.
No matter how you look at it, that's the end game, right? So one way or the other. But, how do you pronounce his name? Koch? David? Koch. I don't want to pronounce it the wrong way. Koch? Okay. But he died, billionaire, conservative. Of course, the left's celebrating him being dead. That's the difference between the left and the right. But is it any surprise? I mean, as conservatives who believe in, like, God mostly and stuff, right, we're supposed to love our enemies. And granted, we can't stand a lot of what they do, but we're not trying to have them die,
Right.
They, want us all dead.
Exactly, correct, 100%. I mean, we're not vicious like that. The left, they're very vicious, they're very vulgar, but then they say that we are the vicious and vulgar ones. There's a lot of projection going on.
Oh, absolutely, all the time. That they live and breathe on projection. They constantly do it. Psychological projection, huge problem, man. Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys all saw the interview with the Overstock.com former CEO now, but he did a lot of rambling, probably because he couldn't really release information. But it's kind of weird to me, right? Like, if you can't talk about stuff because you're worried about what's going to happen, then why go on Fox News and talk about stuff, but then leave out stuff? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy, but I think that he gave us a lot, even though it was kind of incoherent at times. He gave us a lot.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to where this all goes. But to me, it's just another case of another story about people talking about the less corruption and still nothing's happening. I think a lot of people feel that way. We want to see some action here. We want to. Hopefully, the chips start falling, the dominoes start falling, and we get some results here, and we start draining the swamp and locking up these leftist criminals.
That's right.
Yeah, that's all for now, man. I know you got to get to other callers, so good talking with you again, Anthony, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take it easy.
All right, thank you to my man Steve Water. Sorry for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. We got a little bit more time left. Let's get to some more calls here. All right, Nippin, what's going on?
Not that much. How are you doing?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
What happened to Wednesday?
Oh, I was traveling, so I couldn't do the show.
Oh, okay. How was Virginia?
Oh, it was good. It was great. Got to see a lot of friends, family. It was crazy traffic out there, but it was all good.
You drove?
Well, I had a rental car when I was there. I didn't drive to Virginia.
Oh, I was gonna say, wow.
Yeah, that'd be a very far drive from here.
So, Amazon is burning. I wonder what the left has to say about that.
Well, what they're saying that the Amazon is burning because of climate change and because Brazil's new president. They're saying Brazil.
Sorry, I'm not mocking you.
Yeah, I understand. I understand, but they're saying Brazil's new president is responsible for it. They're saying all types of things that aren't necessarily rooted in any kind of sense, in any kind of logic. It's all about just trying to, just anybody that's conservative, anybody that is seen as right when they're trying to attack.
Yeah, that's just the way the world works these days.
Yep.
I went to my local, well, I don't know what you call them over there, but we call them pubs. I went to my local pub, and I met 2 Americans from California, and they said to us it's just the left and the right. The left are the hippies and the rights are the ones with the guns. And thankfully they were the ones with the guns.
Right.
So yeah, one of them called himself a California rebel.
Oh, California rebel, okay.
You know, a conservative in California.
Yeah, there we go.
And then student loans, the veteran forgives student loans.
Yeah, so what happened was the Trump administration is going to forgive student loans for disabled veterans. Some disabled veterans who forgive their student loan debt for.
That's nice. And Trump, and everyone says Trump steals from the rich and doesn't care about veterans.
Yeah, they're just totally incorrect. You know, it doesn't make any sense. And
Sorry,
the thing is that when he does that, he will be able to talk about the student loan situation, the student loan debt, and he'll set the precedent about who deserves to have their student loan debt forgiven. You know, you put your life on the line for the country, you were disabled in the war, whatever the case may be. Okay, if anybody gets their student loan debt forgiven, it should be you, not just the average everyday person who was just lazy and racked up a whole bunch of debt.
By the way, what happened to your camera?
Yeah, it's not working right now for some reason. I'm not really sure.
But you can see me, can't you?
I can see you fine. Yes, I can see you.
Okay, so yeah, someone's saying I'm not drinking. Well, you can't see it, but yes, I am drinking.
Yeah, he has like a red drink in the glass right now, so he is drinking.
So yeah, David Koch. I literally didn't have any time to see the videos. I was so busy this week.
Well, I didn't do a video about him. Not yet.
Oh, what was it about him anyway?
Well, he died.
Oh, it was. Oh, okay. Murder or was it just? Oh, was it murder or old age?
Well, I don't think it was any foul play. It just said he died. It probably was just old age. He was 79. He may have been sick or something. I'm not really sure, but it didn't say he got killed or anything.
And the former Overstock CEO. There's been a scandal about him, hasn't there?
Oh yeah, you got to see that. Like there was it was something that was on Fox News and other places. He went on there. He spoke about a few things. You definitely got to see it. It's hard for me to really put it into words, but he was talking about how the deep state came and basically approached him to try and set up Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton during the 2016 campaign.
So yeah, finally, the Democrats are they're a cult. They're not a political party. A political party usually works across the aisle with other parties and they try and do stuff together. They're a cult. They're a cult. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what it seems like, don't it?
Yeah, and yeah, just a few more days until there's Brexit. Finally, we actually, in England, we have a prime minister that can actually do the job. Since Boris Johnson has come in, his home, well, you call them the Homeland Secretary there, but we call them the Home Office, the Home Secretary.
Okay.
But yeah,
will it actually be a Brexit? Like, will it actually happen in a few days, or what's going to happen in a few days?
Well, it's most likely going to be end of October. But but we have a home minister who is not going kind on illegal immigrants. I mean, like, she wants border patrol agents everywhere. Like from airports to train stations. Yes, train stations. We have something that's called the Eurostar. Have you ever been to England before?
No, I haven't.
So yeah, we have a train called the Eurostar. And then it's a train that runs from London to Paris and Amsterdam.
Oh, wow.
It
Okay.
goes through a tunnel called the Channel Tunnel. So they have Home Office patrols everywhere. So they have the legal right to stop people from coming in and leaving. Like, say if you've done something illegal and you're trying to leave the country, they have the right to stop you from leaving. Likewise, if you're trying to illegally enter, like through the Channel Tunnel or via the border, they have the legal right to send you back. Same way in yeah, they're increasing the Home Office security in like almost every airport. The police recruitment is going higher as well, ever since he became the prime minister.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I hope he does it right.
Well, hopefully so, man. But in the back, I got a lot of more calls on the line. So
Yeah, it was nice catching up with you, ABL.
oh, always, man, definitely.
I shall see you on. You will be on this Wednesday, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, I shall see you on Wednesday.
All right, I'll see you then.
Wednesday your time, Thursday mine.
That's right.
I'll see you then.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right. Thanks for my nipping for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. Oh, super chats. I got to read super chats right quick before we get to the next call. Let me see. Let's go ahead and refresh this. If I got everybody, let's go to Liza Jean Williams, who says, "You're an inspiration for so many. Thank you for being you." Well, thank you for your very kind words and your donation. As always, I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Psalm 91, who says, "Praying for you, Mr. Logan. Keep fighting the good fight," with the praying emoji. Thank you for that. I most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Carl's Opinion, who says, "Caller is wrong. A U.S. appeals court in Denver said electoral college members can vote for the presidential candidate of their choice and aren't bound by the popular vote in their states. Founders protection against the masses." Well, there it is. Thank you for your donation and your correction. Definitely appreciate you. Shout out to Jose Calderon, who says Latinos for Trump. There it is. Shout out to the Latinos for Trump out there. Shout out to Carl's Opinion, who says Terry versus Ohio, known as a Terry stop, U.S. Supreme Court. There it is. Thank you for that. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Stymie, who says, ABL, you should do a show with Black Conservative Patriot. I do know what that stands for, BCP. Hey, that'd be great. I'd love to do it. Shout out to Black Conservative Patriot, a.k.a. BCP. Thank you to Kevin Duggan, who says, GG, good game. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to everybody I got so far. I think I'm pretty much caught up. There we go. Let me get to my next call here. All right, let's go. 252, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, this is Eugene.
All right, what's going on?
How you doing? ABL, how you doing, man? Hey, this is Eugene, man, calling out of Little Washington, North Carolina, man. I just wanted to call in real quick and tell you thank you. Thank you for opening my eyes, changing my life, because I'm finally off the Democratic plantation. And I see it for what it really is now.
Hey, man, I'm glad you're able to see that, man, and you're welcome. That's what I'm here for, to help people open their eyes and see the correct way to be, man. So, hey, I'm glad I could do that for you, man. Was there any particular point in time that made you kind of realize that the direction you were going in with your political process wasn't the right one?
Actually, Obamacare. It was killing me.
Yeah.
It's killing me. I mean, and a lot of my friends don't understand. I'm a black guy, young black guy from North Carolina, and I tell them all the time, like, you can't really see the difference from like Obama time until now. Like I'm actually making like way more money on my job now thanks to Trump, and a lot of my friends are, but they don't realize that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. They don't really understand where, like, how they're making more money, why they're doing better, or maybe they don't want to realize it. Maybe they don't want to acknowledge it.
And a lot of my friends do like Trump, but they're just afraid to say it because, you know, the status quo is he's a racist and blah, blah, blah. But really, none of them can ever pinpoint facts to me on how he's a racist. But they just say he's a racist, and, you know, but I can't change their mind. And I keep telling them, I'm like, well, you know, just read a book sometimes. Because I never realized that the Democratic Party, like, they defended slavery. They started the Civil War. They opposed Reconstruction. they founded the KKK, imposed segregation, and like fought the civil rights. And the Republican Party was established as an anti-slavery party. And I always tell my friends, like, Lincoln freed the slaves. You know what I'm saying? And he was a Republican.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, people. Sometimes it's hard to tell people that, though. I said that earlier. Somebody was trying to tell me, they were trying to ask me, how do I convince certain people to, just open their eyes up and see things differently? It's hard to convince somebody. People have to be open-minded and be looking for that sometimes for it to really sink in. If you're just trying to talk to somebody and they've already had their mind made up, they're not really trying to hear you. But if they're open-minded, you may be able to get a couple of things in there and it may register with them. Or if you just say certain little things and you don't even put no political party on it, talk about the taxes, if you got high taxes, how they real high, how they lower recently. You don't even got to say nothing about Trump. You can just put that out there, and then people that are kind of open-minded or may become open-minded may do some research on their own, and then they're like, okay, what my man was saying, it made sense. He was right, because I did some independent research, and I was able to find that. But some people just are not going to do that.
But, man, I just want to call in real quick. I know you got other callers now. I don't want to hold you up, but I just want to say I appreciate it. And I'm be tuning in, and I hit that like button every time I see a video, man.
Thank you for your call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man. Keep us informed, baby. You'll be safe, man.
All right, thank you. All right, shout out to the caller. Great call. I love getting calls like that. I know I'm making a difference. Like I ain't just speaking into the wind. People are listening and they're taking heed to what I'm saying, and it's helping them in their everyday life. So shout out to my man for the call. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys as well. Hit the like button if you've not done so already. And if you are not subscribed, I don't know what you waited on. Subscribe right now to the channel. Also, share the video. That helps me out tremendously in the little algorithm and whatnot. So I appreciate you for doing that. Let me get to my next call. 206 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, this is Charles Turner.
All righty, Charles. What's going on?
Hey, ABL. Welcome back. Hope you got to enjoy, some time there. You said with the family in the Virginia Beach area. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool, man. Yeah. Very interesting. Seeing those videos. I'm sure most of us, recognize that. But just with everything this week. First of all, I'd like to say once again, I loved how you were on the Daily Wire, and that guy made the comment about people wearing the mega hats, blah blah blah, and then you put up the picture of you and several others. What was it? The Young Black Leadership Conference, was that right?
Yeah, that was that last year. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, and you're like, so we're all racist. Use that as an example, and hate to, and of course we, as other callers have said, you said, we hate to bring identity politics, but you bring that up, and then some other woman comes in and says, you're voting against your against your interests. You just handle it very well. Once again, man, it's like, nobody should have to be. It's like, as they mentioned, I followed you and other YouTubers and other conservatives, and I hate to say to play in the lefts and their words about diversity, but there's plenty of diversity, I believe, in conservatives out there. It's just really really so they try to play in that. And one of your more recent videos, you just mentioned about the projection that others have, like 90%. Doesn't seem like 90% of what the left and the Dems say is all projection. Like everything they accuse us of is their behaviors. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's all about projection because they constantly talk about these things that's not even really going on. Not on our side, it's always on their side. They talk about racism, sexism, all of that, and the third, but they try to put people into these categories based on their race, based on their sex, based on the gender, the made-up gender, whatever the case may be. They do the exact same things they accuse us of doing. I've never had anybody be racist towards me. When I was on the left, I was liberal, and I didn't have all these racist comments that I'm getting now that I'm on the right from the left. So it's all about projection. They're just trying to shut us down by using the tactics that they do among themselves to each other.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one, man. I've noted that with the other conservatives I follow, like, for instance, Brandon Tatum. 3 times he's appeared on Fox News with Antoine Seawright. I'm sure you may have seen he always destroys Antoine Seawright, and he tries to keep it calm. And there was one, I think it's about five and a half weeks ago, last month, and to quote Brandon Tatum, on this, it may be off. He's not a racist. You guys, y'all need to stop saying that, telling Antoine that when Antoine was saying his rhetoric, and then of course, Antoine. Oh, Brandon, you're such a sell. And Brandon was just shaking his head, and the gal who was hosting there, she just, ends it right there. And it's just like, wow. And even with people in my life, like my aunt, for instance, pretty conservative woman, and she's even had some of her friends. I mean, she's in her early 60s. Other women tell her, how can you support the man who does this because she's conservative? It's like, is she not allowed to think for herself? It's just, ridiculous. And then you mentioned the Candace Owens, when she had David Clark on there. I want to watch that one, but there was a video I saw of him a few months ago, and I think it was July of 2016 when he was on Don Lemon's show. Have you seen that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Was that David Clark on Don Lemon's show?
Yeah. I think this was about July of 2016. Yeah, I believe he was.
I remember that.
Sheriff
I covered that story. I remember that, and it was crazy to see them because they kind of looked like they kind of looked similar, like features wise, like they could be related. And it was like David Clark was Don Lemon's father, just scolding them. It was really crazy. But the crazy part about that is that Don Lemon is only about 10 years younger than David Clark Jr. It's kind of weird how mature a person can look versus somebody else who's just immature, like a big baby versus a grown man. You see the difference right there. So that was a great little clip to see.
Yeah, no, it was really interesting. I just loved about how Sheriff David Clark, he was scolding Don Lemon not only in talking about the hypocrisy and the violence of Black Lives Matter, but David Clark, he's in his early 60s, 61, 62, 63, is that right?
Yes, I think he is, right around that.
Oh, right on that. Okay, right, because Don Lemon, I was reading recently, he's in his early 50s, and it just goes to show, examples. I want to quote another one, Jericho Green. I won't swear, but that greasy-lipped, B bad word, Donna Limone, and just and that's a quote. Shout out to Jericho Green.
Shout out to Jericho Green.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you've seen his videos too.
Yeah, I love him. He's a great YouTuber. One of my favorites.
Yeah. Just a different style. Again, I'll just go back to what I was saying. I've kind of digress, but I like how he's more intense, even though he does swear, but then you're much to the point. You have a little bit of humor, but just a nice balance. But anyways, it's interesting, ABL, about how somebody like Donna Limone and Matt Joe and Rachel Maddow and Chris Fredo, Cucklight, how they'll just be on the offensive because the left has controlled the narrative culturally, and then when they're on the offensive, like when Sheriff David Clark lit Don Lemon up, he was roasting him. They just don't know what to do. But then earlier, that video you made when Don Lemon was so disrespectful to Pastor Bill Owens, I just was like, wow.
Yeah, that was really crazy video. But that's pretty much what the left does. They don't really respect elders. They don't respect people that should be respected, that respect them. That's kind of how it goes. I'm going to cut you off right here, but I got to get in one more call before I go ahead and close it on up. So thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Thanks for taking my call, ABL. You take care, man. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
All right, I got one more call. I got to go and wrap it on up and put a nice bow on top. So let's go 910. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 910. If you're talking, I cannot hear you. Going once, going twice. Sorry, 910. I cannot hear you, so I don't know what's going on. All right, actually, I got to go right now. Sorry. If anybody's on the line trying to call in, I have to go. Call in next time. I'll make sure that you get on. But that is a wrap for me. Thank y'all for joining. Definitely appreciate you. We got super chats to read right quick, and then I'm going to go and wrap it on up. Nice bow on the top. Let me see. Thank you to my man, Carl's Opinion, who says, in my humble opinion, some black people are afraid of the narrative that the white guy, Trump, will be seen as being better than the black guy, Obama. That's a very good point. Very, very good point. I ain't think about it like that. Or some are afraid that the whites may feel emboldened and act boldly towards black people. Black people aren't really afraid of white people. We are envious of white people. That's the difference. We're not scared of them from the standpoint of violence, because we do that to each other. We're not worried about that. When we go outside, we're not worried about the white man really trying to beat on us or shoot us. We're worried about each other. We in these hoods. We're trying to protect ourselves from our next door neighbor, our cousin, our friend, not the white man. But you make a good point there. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate you. Well, I'll say one more thing. The media will say it's about white people acting boldly towards blacks, so there could be some fear there. But the reality is much different. But thank you for your donation. Thanks, Elijah James Williams, who says you're an inspiration for so many. Thank you for being you. I appreciate you 1,000%. And that's all I got for tonight. So thank y'all for joining. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. And please like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff for me. And what else I got? Like, share, subscribe. And I'll be back with another live stream on Wednesday. I'm here every Wednesday and Saturday. I was not here this past Wednesday because I was traveling. I couldn't be here, but I'll be back this Wednesday. And I'll be doing some videos all throughout the week. I'll probably do some videos tomorrow if I get a little bit of time. I want to talk about my man, the former CEO of Overstock. I got to talk about him because that was crazy. So I'll do that and some more all throughout the week. And, of course, the live streams. But that is all I got for now. Thank y'all for joining. And until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.